anytime I get invited somewhere nice on a Sunday, I normally or a Saturday, I can tell people I had plans and everything, hung out with people. This is amazing. My mom's gonna be so proud.
Oh my god. So this is something I heard on Spencer's podcast when he did it with him. I think it was 7 months ago. And one of the first things you mentioned was nobody invited you anywhere, and I felt so bad. I felt so sad. I said, "Why does nobody invite RJ anywhere?" See, I said, "You know what? Let's invite RJ today, and we'll have a nice little chat on a Sunday afternoon." So I appreciate you being here.
Fantastic. Glad to be here, my friend.
Cool, man. And let me just see. Abdullahi's in here. Luis is in here. Get a few people in here.
Tell
Um,
Abdulali I figured it. I guess he can hear me. I figured it
yeah.
out, sir. I made it to the live event. My first live event. He was helping me with it earlier, so shout out to him.
Hell yeah, Abdullahi, helping people out. Um, Michael Wong's here. What's going on, man? So, oh, Danny Boy, RJ, saying RJ
Yo,
to you.
what's going on?
Danny Boy's everywhere.
It's
So
always nice, man. I know you're gonna. I don't have to cut you off, but it's always like
yeah,
you never know who's actually watching on the other side of the screen, right? So it's always nice to see people show up. It means a lot. It really does. So thank you guys for coming.
definitely. And actually, Abdullahi said that your mic is a little low. FYI. Hmm.
Mine, I got the AirPods in. How do I make it louder?
Probably just start screaming.
Just talk louder. I can talk louder. Is that better?
It's perfect for me, but maybe a little low for them. Well, it's fine. It's fine. Put the volume up on your phone, and I'll talk quieter. Um, AA Ron, Luke's Points of Miles is here. Your best
Oh,
friend.
the big guy. Okay.
Is he your best friend or your nemesis? Luke's Points of Miles.
I don't say he's a nemesis. I think Caesar's probably become my nemesis. He'll always hit me with the Amex. Like he'll always hit me with the Amex troll. I mean, I like
Hmm.
him. It's all in fun. But if anyone's gonna troll me, it's gonna be because he'll say, now that we know the platinum card is the best travel card. I'm like, really? How can you say that after they're taking away your unlimited lounge access? You're still gonna say, but it's fine. So no, I don't think Luke's a nemesis. I think it'd be Caesar if anything.
Interesting. Maybe we gotta get you both on here at the same time. That'll be that'll be ridiculous. Um, Devout said you got him hooked on bank bonuses, and he already made 3.5K this year with bank bonuses. Nice. Hmm.
Nice, sir. That is an impressive number. That is an impressive number. Glad to hear it.
Not bad, not bad. So we were just talking off camera, and we mentioned like, hey, we met each other in Vegas for the whole creator meetup. Pretty much a quick shake hands, and then there was so much going on that we ended up just coming away from one another, and everybody talked to whoever they're most familiar with, and we were probably maybe the least familiar with at that time, which is why I want you here too, so I can get to know you. But for those of you who are unaware and who do not know who RJ Financial is for whatever reason, could you give us a quick synopsis on who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, no, the Vegas thing was great. Don't even feel bad about it. We were there for the people, right? But no, I sit on that tiny little corner of the internet that's focused on cashback mostly. That's why, so I can the obscure part. But no,
Right.
RJ Financial, Run on the Bank is the bank promotion channel that the gentleman was talking about. And then we have profitablecontent.com, which is also the website. You might know me from one of those three spots, but I'm pretty heavily into cashback cards. Uncle Luke's giving me the name of Mr. 5X, all the things, because somewhere along the line, I just became obsessed with like how much money can I take from banks between bank promotions, between credit card offers, reward points, referrals, you name it. And yes, you can get money from travel still counts, but I just got super obsessed with how much money I can take from banks. And that's really what we focus on across the main three channels, either cards and education and information and the news, or just straight here's what you got to do to take the money. And I've been having a great time with it, and we've been able to get a few folks paid as well. So we're just gonna talk about it, very bunch of things. We'll take some questions, of course, whatever the folks want to get into. And I just, again, just happy to be anytime I can talk about, because where else were you going to talk about this at, right? Because most of this is just talking to yourself normally in a room by yourself, but now we're talking to people, which is great.
Yeah, different points of views, perspectives, people in the chat. Because in the live chat, it's really like live. People are just like, that's right or that's wrong or interesting. One of
Oh, you
those
can
things.
tell me if I'm wrong. That's fine. That's
No, no, you're never wrong. And I want one quick thing, which I do want to get heavily into bank bonuses and whatnot. That's actually the thing I'm most curious about. So I'm kind of holding myself for a second. I delayed my gratification learning about it. But the first thing I wanted to mention is I tried to make you feel comfortable with coming on today by wearing my black
I
polo.
appreciate it.
So I just to make you and everyone feel
Your
comfortable.
car is black as well. At least the interior is the correct color. So
Yes,
I feel at home. This is I
absolutely.
put this shirt on special for this. I gotta put the uniform on. If I don't, people would forget. I mean,
Oh
I was
yeah,
just wearing a black T-shirt underneath, so we weren't like that far off course. But
right.
I appreciate it. You look good, man.
Of
Look good.
course. So in my life recently, I've kind of come to the point where I've accumulated a lot of different points, from all different ecosystems, a lot of Chase points, mostly Amex points, a lot of Hilton points, some Marriott, some Hyatt, all these different programs and whatnot. But more recently, since I have moved from New York down to South Carolina, left my job up there, my active income, I've now for the last, 2 years not had the most stable of income, right? And upon that, I have actually more lately have come to a little bit inching a little bit towards the cashback side because I'm starting to like, hey, I need some cash. I have stuff in the bank account, but if I cannot pull from that for the time being, that would be great. So I've been kind of leaning a little bit towards kind of like a cashback setup, my own little like way with the curve card, the Yotta card, a few things like that, and I'm starting to see a little bit of the allure. But what do you think that most people get wrong about cashback, and what do you think most people get wrong about cashback? Is the question.
I think cashback doesn't get a lot of love. I think objectively you do make more money if you went to the travel space, right? It's a little bit more glamorous. If you really get into it, really get into doing your homework on the best travel partners, transfer rates, things like that. I think if you sat down objectively, you would make more money. I think the thing people get wrong, like maybe choosing between the two and maybe ruling out cashback, is like how do you actually travel? Are you like really gonna are committed to like finding the best transfer rates, transfer ratios? Like, can you travel in the middle of the week, right? Because that's gonna be the best, right? For me, I just didn't. I value the convenience of like, hey, I just want to be there when I need to be there, take the flight that fits best in my schedule, and stay at the hotel that's closest to the place I need to be, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I think I ended up being cashbacks. I like the simplicity of it, and I also do think cashback can work for travel to a degree. Now I've done it before, but like if I'm going to do a Delta flight, then I will go and if one of the categories is 5x groceries on the Chase card, Chase Freedom or whatever, right? I'll go to the grocery store and buy my Delta cards at 5x back and just Delta gift cards and just redeem it that way. And you're still getting 5x back, just kind of like the reverse of it. Instead of trying to get the cent per point on the booking, you're
Hmm.
getting it up front. So it's not quite the same, but I think cashback can still work. And again, for me, it was just like the biggest question is how do you travel, right? I think a lot of us we kind of want to fit ourselves into travel because we feel like we should be. I went through that too. We can talk about it, but
Mhm.
I think that's like the biggest thing for me.
And I can see where your head's at because this is also something I've been thinking about as of late and kind of putting it in videos and stuff and hearing the echoes of like Sledge and his thoughts. He has the quote that I put on sometimes. It's like you can't eat your points of miles while on vacation. And that's kind of rang true for me a little bit more recently on some trips that I did. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting here, I'm staying here for free, but what about all the restaurants and stuff? Like how I'm not necessarily covering like the restaurants, and that's what you're doing. Like you mentioned on Spencer's podcast, like you don't like to spend too much time in hotels. You said you want to, go out and see the sights and
Explore, do
do,
yeah, there to go out and do stuff, see stuff, right? I like to go in for like 2 days, 3 days max, hit it hard, and then say you saw everything you need to see, and then head back.
definitely. Is that so? Like, what I'm trying to think, like, what was your turning point for? Because now I'm seeing myself do this, and I'm like, well, I mean, if I have the cash back, if I have like this hybrid setup, now I could pay for all the restaurants that I do at the destination, and then I cover everything to get to the destination. So it's like the journey and the destination fully covered. Was there like a moment for you that you kind of thought that way as well? That made you think like, let me go all cash back?
So believe it or not, there was a time when I really wanted the platinum card. Like, I had one, right? Like, if you go back far enough in the archives, right? Like, there are videos where like I'm going to like, well, I mean, you just redeem for Uber Eats and you get your credit, right? And I
Yeah.
really wanted the platinum card, and that was back when it was like 100K was like the unicorn. It wasn't even the 150K. And the gold
Mm,
card was only like I don't know, maybe 25 or something. It was
mm,
before Amex went crazy, but I had them both. And I just felt like slow like, at 550, I was like, "Okay, fine." And I think it was really like I wanted like, you ever seen, like, Up in the Air, like the George Clooney movie where, like, he flies around and just fires people for, like, a living?
Mm,
So
no.
he's just a road warrior. He's Up in the Air. It's an older movie. I think it's from like 2009, 2010. It's pretty good. Like he goes around fires people, but he because all he does is travel. He lives in hotels and he travels all the time. And
Oh,
I finish business school, and you think I'm going to be a traveling consultant at KPMG or Accenture because that's what you do with an MBA, right? And so I
right.
think in my mind, I thought I was going to do that and just be travel a lot. Turns out none of those companies wanted to talk to me. Go figure. But
Huh.
I went through the phase of getting the platinum card, and I just got more and more annoyed with trying to use the credits and the effective annual fee argument. And then I think by the time we got to like the lockdown, I wasn't really going much anywhere like a lot of people, and that's when I really started getting into doing the bank promotions and everything. And then the full turning point was when for me it was simpler and it was more fun, which probably sounds silly because it's math and like it's finance. It was really fun. I don't know, but it is fun for me trying to figure out how to build the best setup, where the best offers at, and it just became an obsession of like how much money could I really take from the bank if I really tried. And like that was kind of the slow turning point. But I think that when platinum pushed up to 700,
Hmm.
I was like, nah, I can't justify doing it anymore. I felt, I tried it. As much as I wanted it to be for me, like it just really wasn't a card that worked for me, I guess. And it's a slow realization of that.
Huh. So my first thought when you're mentioning all this is like, well, one, I could imagine like all the toil going through using the credits and everything. Oh my God! Wait a second, to
Look at
cut
this.
myself off.
I saw that one pop up.
Yeah. Oh my God, the amazing Dollar Man coming in with
Wow.
the 10 spot, man. In honor of the Cashback King, here's a little cash forward. Thanks for bringing these conversations to us, Anthony. RJ got me hooked on bank bonuses. Only 1K so far, but that's half my rent. Wow,
That's
that's awesome.
fantastic.
Jesus. Thank you so much, Dollar Man. I appreciate you, man, for being here
Yeah.
and doing that. Wow. Look at that. RJ, you have, to cut myself off again, it seems like you have a real good relationship with the people. You're making the money. The slogan of the channel is the most profitable channel on YouTube. And so far, it's like two or three people already mentioned, like, yeah, RJ got me this amount of money. RJ got me this amount of money. That's awesome. That's really
Well,
cool.
thank you. Like I said, it legitimately is great to see people showing up and that it's working for them, right? I think I don't know, I just try to talk to people like I worked in banking for a long time. I worked in healthcare. One of the things that's always annoyed me is corporate speak and how we try to like jazz things up and make it sound so fancy. I just try to break things down to be but here's exactly what you need to know in regular human speak. And I think over time that kind of it connects with people. I'm not winning Pulitzers by any means over here, but you can follow it and you can use it to make money. Like that's fantastic. So that's the goal.
For sure. I think that's probably what's appreciated, just the almost nonchalant but straight to the point, matter of fact style that it seems that you do have, which is that is very cool. I appreciate it. And thank you so much again, Dollar Man. You're that's awesome. Let me just make sure because for some reason the chat's actually a little bit broken on my side, so I gotta pull out my second phone to
Oh,
do
you have
everything.
two phones?
Of
I need
course,
an
man.
excuse to have two phones. I want the Samsung Folding. I know I'm an Apple fan with only the Fold. I want an excuse for that. I have no. This could be an excuse to have two phones.
Uh, it wasn't on purpose. It's because this is an iPhone 8 Plus that I've had for 5 plus years. And then I decided, like, oh, I guess I have to upgrade because whatever. But that ended up turning into my camera for the YouTube channel. I couldn't switch out of it because of whatever with my contract, but I was able to just keep this one and then buy the other one. So, if I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't have the second phone. But actually, it helps a lot for stuff like this because then I could just read chats or read whatever else, or even read scripts too if you're into that sort of thing. Um, Luke's points of miles. He came in. He said cashback is better for domestic economy for 99% of folks.
That's a good point. I think. I don't. I think people like. I would say Ask Sebi is the king of showing you how to book stuff, right? And I think people like him are fantastic. He's probably the guy I still watch the most to this day. But I think Luke's point is right because he's just got such a different life than most people, man. Like most people, like we need. we need the Friday, Saturday, Sunday trip so I don't have to burn PTO time, right? Like, I just need the domestic travel and, yeah, sitting in the back of the plane is not gonna be great, but I just don't wanna pay cash, and I think that's a lot of people. And
Hmm.
sometimes you feel like, "Well, I'm supposed to be getting these crazy point redemptions." Like, I mean, it's really like, what's your goal? And my goal is generally like, I'm not gonna take a terrible, terrible haircut of a redemption, right? I have standards, but a lot of times, like, I just don't wanna pay cash, and, like, I think that's okay to say, "Hey, I wanna go to this place. If I could do it without paying cash, then I didn't even really have to budget for it, and then maybe you have more for, like, activities or go see one more thing or go to a nicer restaurant," whatever you're into.
As you're talking, you seem to be someone who is because a lot of the times I see you mention in whether videos or even that podcast, you mention almost like a like a burning like I don't want to pay cash for something. Um, are you very very frugal by nature?
I used to be a lot worse, right? Like, I'm probably like a victim of what's that thing that Graham Stephan always use, lifestyle,
Scarcity. Oh,
smaller
lifestyle
lifestyle.
inflation.
Yeah, like I don't like not to a ridiculous degree. But so back in the day, I was terrible. Like my first job, my first official like W-2 job, I was gonna get like $10 an hour, which is you're talking about 2010, so not bad by any means. But everything like I would be the person who goes like Dollar Shave Club razors. I use the same one for like a month until like you're cutting the side of your face. And like I guess I got to switch razors just to try to get my maximum dollar out of it. Now I'm
Hmm.
down to a point now where like I do value convenience. And I'm not. I'm like, hey, look, if these contacts hurt, I'm just switching them after a month. I'm not trying to get 6, 8 weeks out of them because they're only rated for 4 months. I've gotten better about it. I don't like to spend my I think I like to pick my spots, right? Like, I think, if you pick your spots and you're pretty focused, you can have most of the things you want in life, like my thing, like Luke, he's been commenting, Luke and I like watches, right? And if this will sound like a flex, I promise you it's not. You can have 2 or 3 nice watches, but you probably can't have 2 or 3 nice watches and drive like a Ferrari or something for normal people. But if like that's gonna be your thing, and that's going to be your thing, and then you just don't spend a ton of money in other areas. So I guess I just like to pick my spots. Like my desk is the thing that I like. My desk, I like a desk like normal people like a kitchen, right? But you know,
That's a good way to think about it. It's funny. One of the things growing up that you hear, I remember my parents. Oh, like, for some reason, it just came up in conversation. It was always like one of the other kind of conversations, like, "Oh, you see that guy with that Ferrari? I bet he's living in a mobile home." Or do you see that guy in that mansion? Probably driving like a 2005 Corolla. Like it seemed like it was always one or the other. And like you said, pick your thing. And I could definitely see that for myself. Like up until recently, I mean, well, actually up until forever, like similar. I think I don't know if that's you as well, or if it's just however many black shirts you have. But I have like 8 of these shirts, and then that's pretty much it. I have one pair of pants. But then again, I sit here and I'm sitting in a Tesla, and I'm like the biggest hypocrite ever when I talk about like I'm frugal. So I think you're right. It's like picking what you care about most in life, and then going to that with the
I have a lot
whatever
of
you're.
black shirts. I've got the suit. I mean, I was a banker. I was never writing loans, but I've got the banking uniform in the closet. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But yeah, now I'm like to you. I've got like I like a uniform. Makes things easier. I've got a few black T-shirts that I wear, and now I agree with you. It's like figure. I don't even think it really makes you bad or a hypocrite at financial advice. I think it almost makes it like realistic because what I mean, my dad used to say when I was super cheap, he'd be like, "I've never seen a Brinks truck in a funeral procession," right? That doesn't necessarily mean spend all of it, right? But what's the point of going like I mean, look, I'm not to make it sound like oh man, we're so hard working. But I got a regular job. I got this job. We got things to do. Like, what's the point? You got to do something with it. Doesn't mean you blow it all on it. I mean, it's not a gold Rolex, right? It's steel.
You're not
It's
like
not
this. No, it's a
control.
citizen.
Oh, I was like, what am I talking about? This guy. But no,
No.
like, I think it's okay within reason, but that's where you fall back to the basics of budgeting and things like that. And that's where, again, back to the points. Yeah, if you're going on trips, I still want to pay cash. I still want to go. Well, great. It doesn't impact your budget as much if you can just use points. You're not getting off over it. I know Delta points are 1.2 cents a point. I know how Delta works. I know how I can get a flight from Delta. I know what to expect. I'm going Delta. Fine, 1.2 cents a point. So it wasn't 8 cents a point. I don't know. I don't care that much. I just didn't pay cash.
Yeah, I definitely think, and it's I've noticed it more recently. More and more people talking about like how cent per point valuations don't matter. It's about the trip and the experience you had along the way, and it's very true. After thinking about every trip, at least I've personally been on, it's always like, okay, I want to stay there. I'm going to stay there. Do I have enough points to cover it? And that's all that matters. After the fact, I'll do the numbers like, oh, it's a decent redemption, right? But it wasn't the main driver and why I chose that in the first place. Like you said, Delta. I'm familiar with Delta now, so I'm like, I'm just going to choose them regardless of whatever my cent per point valuation was. Just going to
Right,
do
like,
it.
I don't remember the valuation I got when I went to New York for New Year's, but I do remember getting rained on the whole time. Because who would have guessed it'd be, like, 60 degrees for New Year's, and just
Mhm.
getting finally having, to wear a tux and getting rained on. Like, you remember that stuff, and again, as long as I didn't pay cash, like, it's fine. Even if you had to pay cash, whatever, but since we're talking about points, I mean, yeah, just that's kinda my overall goal, and I think it becomes more relatable because I think there are more people out there that feel that way.
Hmm.
Like, hey, I'm just really doing this because I don't want to pay cash. It would be nice to know. So I guess I would say I try to provide people with here's like the cent per point calculation. Here's what you can do. Here's some people who you can go watch if you really want to get after it. So at least you know and you can make the decision for yourself, right? Because if you want maximum value, there's nothing wrong with that. By all means, my hats off to you. But I think a
Hmm.
lot of people just don't want to pay cash. At least that's where I fall in at.
I same, absolutely, for sure. It's funny. Luke actually also chimed in. He said he got 8 cents per point on Air France, and he still complained about it. Jeez,
Well, I won't.
unreal.
I'm obviously gonna not talk about any of my redemptions then because they're not
Right,
8 cents. I mean, I'll do the redemption math for fun just because I know I should, but I'm like,
for
not the
sure.
best. What are you gonna do?
I see we got a few more people in here. MR, DC Gemini, Tyree, Recon, Fireboy. What's going on, guys? Anthony Jones, how's everything? Chad Money Minutes. He says, "Yo, yo, the Men in Black in full
Hey,
effect."
big time.
Hell yeah. So I also wanted to bring up because I did a video recently, kind of talking about uh essentially taking an Amex Plat or Charles Schwab Platinum card, the gold card, or no, the Amex Platinum card, the Blue Business Plus, and then the Amex Everyday Preferred card, and essentially turning every one of those categories into like a 5.5x travel. You know, I think it was like over three x back on gas, or 3% back on gas, because I'm taking all those points from Schwab and pulling into your your Charles Schwab bank account and essentially getting like cash back. Is that ever a system that would make sense to you? Is just to kind of have a Schwab 1.1 valuation, kind of use all of your Amex points as essentially cash back, but at least you have the option to use those points for travel, or you can use it for cash back. Is that something you would ever be interested in doing?
I mean, if I was gonna have a platinum card to keep, it'd probably be the Schwab one for that outlet. I've also thought about like a master one-time Amex cash out strategy, like where the Schwab would be the end goal. You just keep banking your Amex points, like the business gold. I have an offer for the business gold for like 150K sitting in my
Hmm.
email box now, just like thinking about it, right? I think I think to use that to make it work, like you really got to either be earning a ton of points so that like it works, or you still have to be able to use some of the Schwab Platinum Card benefits. Without that, you're still paying $700, and you're just paying 700 just for the cash out. I think
Hmm.
again at that point, I think you do better going after just like cash back cards. Plus Amex, I mean, they put caps on their 3% earning cards. My Blue Business Cash is a cap on the 2% limit. Like that point, if you're not using
Hmm.
the platinum card, any of the benefits enough to offset that fee, then I think you'd start looking at Wells Fargo autograph cards, your custom caches, the ones that'll still give you higher and don't have a cap and just like less the deal, less expensive. Sure,
Hmm.
there's more cards, but I mean, if the person who's putting together this strategy in their head, I don't think they're going to be thrown by having like a few extra cards. So if I could use the credits more religiously, then possibly. But you still got to be in the travel from the platinum card, I think. And the Delta thing, the Delta Lounge thing, it doesn't sound bad. I don't think it's actually that bad, but it does annoy me that they took away
Hmm.
unlimited and didn't give me anything else back. So on principle.
Interesting. Yeah. Hmm. So, do you almost feel like, because I'm wondering for your perspective, do you like, would you prefer? Well, I feel like the answer is an obvious yes, but maybe it's not. do you feel like you should be collecting cards, maybe for your average person, collecting cards that earn in a currency that can be converted to anything you want, like Capital One, for example, where you can convert like the points, miles, cashback, all combined into one? Or do you think it's like what kind of like you think that should be like the everyday thing where you can at least have the ability to use your whatever you're earning via travel, or you can use it towards just paying your gas in your car every single week if you want to, like not necessarily hybrid, but at least you have the option.
I mean, the best, that's I mean why Chase points are super popular because
Mm.
you can do that, right? I
Yep.
mean, usually, but for me, yeah, I prefer a currency that gives you flexibility. I think for the average person, like if someone's like I had a coworker a while back ask me, he's like, heard you can get my wife wants these cards where you can like fly first class or something. I was like, I don't know if that exists, but what he was trying to talk about was like the Delta cards, right?
uh, yeah.
And how to earn Delta points. And like if I can, I mean, everyone, a lot of people, everyone watching this can probably do this with their friends, right? But if I can ask you a series of questions, I can kind of gauge how much you want to do, right? And if like you're telling me like, hey, your wife's goal, she just wants to go on an extra trip or two a year, she doesn't want to be in the back of a plane, well, I'm like, all right, well, then you probably just want one of the Delta cards, and we got to figure out which one is best for you because I know these people don't want to worry about transferring points, right? They
Yeah.
don't really want to understand the type of money. They just like, hey, they're in my Delta account and I can use them, right? Or they're in my Marriott account and I can use them. So I tend to tell people, I think this is in the spirit of your question. I was like, what would just like make you the happiest, right? Like
Hmm.
what yes, I can build you like the most value pack setup. We could get you the Amex Gold. He's got a whole family, so I'm sure he's gonna crush the
Hmm.
grocery category and not getting all that. But if you're not gonna want to do that, then have to do transfers and all that, like what's your favorite chain? Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, whatever. Pick
Hmm.
that card, pick your airline card. You'll know where the points are at, and like you'll be good to go. Like, and usually, if you want it more complicated, we can make it more complicated. It's really not that complicated, but you can kind of tell from
Yeah.
what people what they're into. That's kind of how I go when I'm directing people to like what they should get. But no, to answer your question, I prefer because even with the chase points, like I could when we did the Vegas trip, it was like I could cash out the points for the hotel if I wanted to. I think it just wasn't right. I don't even think it was that good of a value even for me, but it's
Hmm.
an option, right? And options are good.
Which reminds me, how did you get to Vegas? Like, what was the breakdown? It was flight,
Uh,
hotel,
flight
cash
was just
points.
like no flight was like sky miles that I already had.
Nice, same.
I think
Hmm.
I generally get around 1.2 cents when I do Delta flights. It was just, but again, like for me, it was like let me go Friday later so I can go after work. 'Cause I don't like if I can avoid taking the day off, like why not?
Yeah.
Some of these young guys they were out there for like a week. Can't do that.
Jeez.
So let me just go after work. So like and the schedule kind of dictates when I'm going to
Yeah.
go. So I just pick the ones that work for me. And then I think hotel I had the Sapphire Preferred from that in-branch offer earlier in the year, so I did the hotel
Hmm.
credit for that one, and I think the rest they just paid cash. I just stayed at the Park MGM because that's where the
Oh,
festivities were at. So I was like, I'll just stay here because I have to be here.
all right.
Big
Nice,
shots
nice,
like
man.
Luke were down at the Waldorf or something. I walked down to see them later.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny. We were like split down the middle. It was like me and a few, like CJ and a few, and Matt Welter. A few people were all in like we did the timeshare out on the other side of Hilton
Oh,
Grand
you were on the.
Vacations
Well, that's
next to
why
the
we didn't
Conrad.
see each other that much because you were always
Yeah,
on the other side. Yeah,
yeah.
because there's. Yeah, but no, they. I remember going to. I did a video on the Sapphire Preferred credit because you kind of have to, right? And
Hmm.
I remember like looking at the Waldorf, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like double the price." Yeah, I'm sure it was every bit. I'm sure it was way nicer. Like, no, I believe it. Like, Park
Yeah.
MGM was like, really, this is kind of like dated and gold, and but again, I just wanted the gym to be nice, and it was nice. Like, I'm not even that big is the worst part, but like I just wanted to. You got a gym, perfect.
Yeah.
And it was half the price. I was like, I'm good, but I didn't stay in the room at all, so it really didn't matter how
Hmm.
nice it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I was spending. It's funny you say gym because I was spending most, not most of my time in the gym. I didn't go to the gym at all, but I had spent a lot of time walking with CJ to the Conrad gym, which was very nice. It was like a whole it really was like a full-on gym. I don't know how the Waldorf was, but it's, or the Park MGM was too, but yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It had everything you needed. It wasn't like massive, massive. But I mean, it was like a quarter of a floor. I think it was, definitely good. Because
Mhm.
that's the thing I look at. Like if I'm checking out a hotel, because while on this travel for my criteria to pick a hotel is like one, do you have a fitness center? Right?
Mm.
I've been over the years. I just work out in the morning. I need it. Again, I'm not even that big, so it's kind of funny, but need it.
I don't know, man.
If
That
I
shirt's, you're hugging the sleeves there. It's,
the boys medium. Um, that's the secret. Just get everything
Same.
boys medium.
Small here. Yeah.
Exactly. Does it have, if I have a car, does it have free on-site parking? Like, do you have
Mm,
breakfast on site? Like, and are you close to the thing I need to be? Those are my criteria for picking a hotel. It doesn't even have to be nice, man. Like, I should just be close to where I need. I've just spent years since I was like 6 years old showering in public locker rooms. All right, like my tolerance level is very high for like
yeah.
what's good bathrooms. Like I don't even
Mm.
care. You mean an alligator didn't drag me off? This is perfect. This is perfect.
Alligator.
So I went to my bar is just so very low.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you're worrying about dinosaurs when you're going to the bathroom, that's,
Yeah, we're good.
yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
nothing came out the shower saying we're good. So that's how I
Jeez.
pick. But that's
Um,
why I never again. But that's why I've had the Marriott card where they give you the reward night, and I was like, yeah, I just don't really use them that much, right? Because even
mm,
if you give me a reward night for like 50K points, the chances are fine. That one's great, but then the chances I'm going to want to book to pay the other price, the SAT price for the subsequent nights is very low. So then, like,
yeah.
where am I really going to go switch hotels? And at this
Mm,
point, the rooms I'm picking, like the courtyards that you go for work, like,
mm,
I mean, you're only talking like 125, $150. I mean, if it gets really high, sometimes 175. It's not that bad. So
yeah.
this is why travel points didn't really work for me because I'm like, I'm not that guy. I wanted it. I thought I was that guy, but I'm not that guy.
You just know yourself. Gotcha. A couple of people mentioned that you took the private plane to Vegas, not Delta. They think you're lying. That's interesting. They think you have a fitness channel coming out in 2024, Mr. Vinny Boombots.
I work out with a young lady in the morning who she doesn't own a plane, but her job allows her to fly on like an owner's plane. I've heard stories; it's pretty sick. So
Really?
it was not me. I was on the same plane as Sledge, believe it or not,
Oh,
because he
really?
came from Miami or wherever his connecting was up to DTW, Detroit.
Hmm.
And funny story. So we were on the plane. It was a time where it was like raining a ton in Vegas. And I'm like, all right, get on. Nope, get off because it's gonna take a while. Nope. And at that point, I was like, I wish I kind of did have a lounge car because he was like, I
Hmm.
was like, we're gonna be here for like 4 hours. Like, dude.
Yeah.
But then they let us back on, and then the couple next to me were getting married, and then the pilot did a whole announcement for them. So I was like, I got to be
Oh.
like an awkward third wheel. I didn't even know. Um, so,
The people sitting right next to you?
yeah, right next to me. They
Oh
were.
God.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it was good. They were nice people. They were getting
hmm.
married, so not a private deal, unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
No, I haven't taken enough money from banks yet.
See,
Eventually,
you're saying that again. This is the third time you said it here, and you said it a couple times on Spence. I really wanted to know about this.
I
I
really
got it
want
got
to
me
know.
curious. I want to know. You always mention how much money I could take from the banks, and you were a banker, and doing all these things. Why is that such a? Why is that the phrase that you go with? Like, I want to take this money from the bank. Do you hate the banks?
No, I love the bank. I'm starting another job at a bank or a credit union.
Oh,
I've been fired from banks twice. I keep going back. You yourself get churned a lot as a bank employee. So
wow.
I never wrote loans or anything. I was in production for a while,
Hmm.
in mortgage, like uploading appraisals. I know you're a real estate, so I was just going on the other
Hmm.
side, right? You're out on like the buy side, helping people find the home. I was on the ops side, making sure we got the financing for the people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it started. I just never. I was in there. I don't know. It's around my second job, so I don't know, maybe 22, 23. Like I never really understood what was going on, so I started doing a bunch of Audible books about the financial. It
Hmm.
was probably around the books are probably about the 2008 financial crisis and mortgage and stuff like that. But I just got really into it and understanding like how money moved and things like that. And I never went. I took the job because it was a job I could do. I didn't like set out to like I'm going to work at a bank. I was like they were the people who called me back, and I was like, yes, I need a job. Perfect. Let's do
Right.
this. You have money. Perfect. I need money. But that's how it started. And then like I think over time, I just kind of got into it more and more comfortable with it. And this will probably I know you want to talk about real estate too. So this will also spin off into that a little bit, but I say take money from the banks. I think I stole it from John from Bank Account Bonus Central, being totally honest.
Hmm.
So I met him maybe a few years ago, and he came on my show, and he just we were gonna talk about something else. He just kept talking about bank accounts the whole time. And I always knew you can make money from them. I never really like gave it like too much thought.
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, he was telling me how much his goal is making $10,000. And I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can make $10,000 a year doing it. And he used to say his tagline was like, "I'm making profitable content on a daily basis." And I
Hmm.
don't know if I don't know if I took the making the bank's money your money from him or not. I definitely took profitable content because he disappeared. And I'm not a good friend. So, like I didn't call to check on him or anything. I'm terrible with him.
Oh, jeez.
But in fairness, like if you have like married friends and like you understand like people with kids, like they call you, you don't call them. They'll call you when they're free.
Hmm.
That's how it works. That's my
Interesting.
defense.
Yeah.
But I stole the profitable content thing from him, and I stole the second channel idea from him when he left for like a year. He's back now and doing it, so he's the OG of it. But I think I just
Hmm.
needed the tagline, and I think it came like make the banks money. I was like, banks have a lot of money. We should just make their money become our money. But I don't hate the banks. I love the banks. I think it becomes so easy. It's just so easy money. And everyone can benefit from a few extra dollars. So I think that's where it came from. That's kind of the cliff notes of where the idea came from. It's all stolen from another guy, but he knows about it,
Yeah.
obviously. But
That's
yeah,
fine.
just stole it
We're all stealing from everybody. It doesn't matter.
pretty much.
Take it, make it better, whatever. That's all.
Yeah.
Um.
So I mean,
Yeah.
did you? I guess I should probably explain how it works for folks. If
I would
they
love to. Yeah. For
okay.
me too.
All right. So if you're interested, what I can do is after this, you can plug it in the description or something. I can set. I have a starter bank promotion from Chime that I start people out with if they're interested in doing this. It's not even my referral link in there, so I'm not even plugging myself. But
Hmm.
basically, like banks, like everything else, like they need customers, right? But people don't wake up being like, you know what I want to do? Sign up for a new bank account. So much like Verizon and AT&T are like, hey, you come here, we'll just give you the new iPhone, right? So
Hmm.
we can lock you in for eternity. Well, it's the same things instead of giving out phones. Although back in like college, I do remember them giving out like iPods was like the thing the banks
Hmm.
would give out on campus instead of cash. So
Wow.
like Chime, for example, that's the one I'll send you after this for anyone who's interested. But like Chime will say, hey, sign up as long as you're a brand new customer, open a new checking account, make a direct deposit of like your paycheck of like I don't know what it is, $200 maybe $500, and we will give you $100 just like that.
Hmm.
And so what we do on the videos and the website is I read the terms and conditions so you don't have to. And I just break down exactly what you need to know. I've got videos teaching you how to read them yourself if you want. And the idea is that for these simple ones like for Chime, well, I go to work. You're gonna get paid hopefully. So why not just redirect part of your direct deposit there if you can pick up an extra $100, and $100 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if you continue to do it, if you just did like two promotions a month, one for each check that you got, by the end of the quarter, by the end of the year, like how much more money, excuse me, like would that be?
Hmm.
And that's kind of how it works. So they do it to get new customers, and it becomes a thing because much like credit cards, you can churn them, but at a much faster clip for most promotions. Now, some like Chime are generally like, hey, once per lifetime, but Huntington Bank, on my Q&A, someone asked me like, "What's the bank that I took the most money from?" Like, I think it's Huntington because Huntington, you can be a new customer like once a year by the time you count all the time you've had from you've opened it from they pay out. So like
Hmm.
once a year, I go into my local Huntington branch. I can open up a business account. I can open a personal account once a year. You just keep doing it. And then
Hmm.
over time, it adds up. So we talked about how do you get those nice things. Like you can throw that money behind your vacation. So you don't even have to worry about points, or you can get gold watch, like venture guru over here,
Yeah,
whatever
man.
you
Yeah.
want, your Tesla, your plaid, whatever, right?
I don't.
It
No
all
point.
it all adds up is the point. So that's the summary of how it works, right? It's one of the tell people
Hmm.
like just try one. Chime's the one to try. It's the easiest and they pay the quickest. And then after that, see how you like it. If you don't like it, so be it. But it really doesn't take that long, and it's pretty profitable.
Hmm. So my first thought whenever because even in the Discord, there's a whole section for bank app bonuses, and it's the one I'm the least active in. I'm not even I'm not even in
Hang
there.
on, are you talking about was it Spencer and Marks and those of that Discord?
No, I didn't even know they
Uh,
had a section for
uh,
that. The venture capital Discord.
I gotta
Um,
join your Discord.
oh yeah, man, come on in. People are gonna be hounding you after this. You're gonna say, Archie, can you
That's
help me with this
fine. I'm
chat?
here for it.
It's
I'm here
great.
for it. That's what
I
I'm
will
here
be
for.
too.
My job
The-
is just answering questions. That's all the job is, just answering questions.
right.
I'm here for it.
That's a good point. But my first thought when I every time that people throw in the bank account bonuses and this one and yeah Chime and like Telus, this one near me that I think that this one that does it. My first thought is like I don't want to open up too many accounts. I feel like I'm going to be hacked in some way. I feel like my information is going to be spread to everywhere, and then some of these banks are going to have issues. Like, what do you say to a person like me who's like hyper paranoid of my information going out to like so many different industries or companies?
Well, I mean, that's a fair concern. I mean, I get the letters and the emails that, hey, the Flagstar sent me one the other day. Surprise, data breach, right? It can just because it just keeps happening. And they act like they're being nice to you, offering you credit monitoring, or they're required to offer you credit monitoring for a year.
Right.
So that's why there's some people again start off with one. I'll say in two parts. I say the only thing that is you can open as many accounts as you want. I think I average about like 15 some change a year, 50 or 60 accounts a year between brokerages, checking, savings,
Yeah.
all that. There is something in the background called check systems it's almost like your credit report just for deposit accounts, right? So generally, like if I'm a smaller bank, credit union, or regional bank, I might pull checks because I want to see how risky you are as a customer. And opening a bunch of accounts is not normal behavior, so
Hmm.
that can be seen as a risk. So you do get denied from time to time if you go crazy with it. I, I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. Some people it does. So the cliff notes is that can happen if you open a ton of them. Now, as for the data piece and everything, I mean, yeah, I guess there's just no getting around that really. I mean, I think we can do our best to be secure, like, using having the password generator to always give you that crazy long password,
Hmm.
to keeping a specific email address that you only use for
Hmm.
that stuff and don't have anywhere else. Some of the fintech ones are getting better with like having like Google Authenticate or two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
I do things like I don't even activate the debit cards unless it's a requirement of the bonus to use it, just so I think even if it was stolen or compromised, at least the card was never activated. I think after a while you can't even activate it; they have to send you a new one.
Hmm.
But kind of, I mean, I've been using the credit monitoring stuff from that Equifax data breach, and when that's expired, I'll probably end up just paying for it because, to your point of like how many things I open, and that one does track some bank. When I open a bank account, that one does throw a notification like, "Hey, you opened a new bank account." Um, but I just feel like I guess we can't really get around it, which is not a great answer to give. But
Hmm.
I mean, GM where my car loan was at, or my mortgage company, or Verizon, my phone
Yeah.
bills, like everyone, it's just I don't know. I guess we just can't get around it really. Not really a good way to get around it. So I think to take those are some of the precautions I try to take. But aside from that, and I think closing down the accounts does help because you're not leaving them open forever. Excuse me, because you're churning them, so you don't have this. So you don't really have a. I don't have 60 accounts like actively open. Like I go through and close them, like when you're allowed to close them,
Oh.
which helps minimize some of the risk as well too. But it's definitely a risk. I mean, it's a fair point. I talked to like some people, like I have the channel members in the Discord as well, and you know, uh, one of the perks is I'll use referral links of members in blog posts and stuff. And I like a few members who are like, "Hey, I don't want to do this referral because it puts like my name in the referral." It's like, hey, I totally get it, right? So it's
Hmm.
kind of like, what level of risk are you comfortable with? I guess is kind of it. But there's some precautions we can take like those.
Interesting. And I guess it's probably because in the credit card space, it's more normalized. Like, oh, you sign up for a credit card with the greater banks, but inherently, it is the same thing. I had a data breach with Capital One. There was a data breach with Target, and we had their card and everything like that. So it could happen anywhere. I guess it's just like you said, take those proper precautions. That's interesting. Maybe set up a new email. But I didn't in all of that. I never thought about. I didn't even think about the concept of, oh, I'm going to go through and cancel it at some point. Like that didn't even come through my head, and that just actually.
How you get back in line and do it again. I mean, you can do the same banks over and over. Eventually, so like Huntington won't let me open any more online, but if I go in branch, they'll open them for me.
Hmm.
So I've just done them too many times. But yeah, that's the kind of the fun of it. You just kind of keep doing them. City once a year. I mean, some of them like Chase and U.S. Bank are like every 2 years, but like Citizens is a once a year, Huntington's a once a year, City's a once a
Hmm.
year, Wells Fargo. So you kind of know your targets
Yeah.
that you're gonna get, which is nice.
Huh. I see Stan the Credit Frogs in here too, Michael Stewart, just and Mike Clausen.
What's up, fellas? Welcome.
So because I've done some churning, like I opened up Charles Schwab brokerage account, got the starter kit, like $101.
Oh, nice. I did that one too. It's good. Yeah, it's a good one.
Hell yeah, man. Did the Fidelity, got $100,
Yup.
like that was good. And then
You're doing it.
I do a little bit, but then but see, now here's the contention, well, not contention, but my issue with it, that all I had to do was open up the account, and I think
Oh yeah.
I had to fund like $50 of like new
$50
money.
for Schwab, and then they just gave you the 100. Well, and then Fidelity is very similar, like funded like $50, something like that. Yeah.
See, that's fine, and I could fund accounts, but as I told you, moving down here, I don't necessarily have active income, and I don't have direct deposits constantly going through. So, is there a world for people like me who don't have constant direct deposits going through
Oh yeah, no,
every month?
that's a good question. It's a good question. So I mean, because there's a whole world of folks who are like self-employed, or you know, just don't have like not getting direct deposits every 2 weeks. Or there's some people who over allocate their direct deposit and need even more, right?
Hmm.
So some banks they're set up like I've never worked that deeply in technology. Before I understand, like on the back end, it will be coded like the transaction comes over from another bank is a certain thing. Like P2P is peer to peer. You send something from
Hmm.
Venmo or PayPal. That's usually what it shows up as. Then you have like prearranged deposit, which is generally like what a direct deposit would say or something like that. So if the bank doesn't go in and like code for those, like to block some or allow the others or have them to trigger, then like a lot of things will end up counting. So some banks, it's I'm gonna give a specific bank because some of them it's on a bank level. A lot of times we just go through the data points, like the comments on the doctor credit, to find
Hmm.
out what works and doesn't. But some banks, a legitimate ACH from another outside bank will work. Um, Business accounts are good. So business accounts, like if we talked about American Express, my actual business account is American Express, believe it or not.
Hmm.
And because our business accounts, they'll let you basically like pay a vendor. So I would go in there and I would add in that external bank as like I'm paying a vendor account number, routing number, and I throw
Hmm.
something like payroll in the memo line and send it. Sometimes that'll work. Sometimes it doesn't. Wise is another one that's pretty reliable. So they're kind of like they're not necessarily built for payroll. I think they were originally built for like sending money internationally.
Hmm.
But you can do USD to USD. They charge like a small fee. I think like to move. I think I move like $1,000 is like a $2 fee, $3 fee, something like that.
Hmm.
And then again, I set mine up under my business, but you can set it up under personal as well. And there's a memo line, and I'll add in like payroll, which I don't know. I can't tell you that that does anything. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
free form text field, so I think it's more like just like a memo line for a check.
Yeah.
But sending it from Wise can work. So it's really all about like how the destination bank interprets it,
Hmm.
and that's the thing we don't really know for sure unless we get enough data points. So luckily, a lot of these banks they run the same promotions all the time. So again, uh, Doctor Credit's the best source of just going through the comments and seeing like what has worked in the past for people. But just because you know a real direct deposit does not mean you're out of it by any means.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And actually, Lalit, what's going on, Lalit? he actually said, "Is there a list of bank account bonuses that code direct deposit incorrectly, such as ACH peer to peer could count as direct deposit?"
I don't know that anyone keeps a set list. It's more so because the problem if you make a list, like they can go back and update it. I don't know anyone who's like maintaining that. So what I'll do is, I'll go through the most recent Doctor of Credit posts and see what people are posting for what worked. A lot of people go in and post
Hmm.
their data point of what they did. Was it a real one? Was it, Ally? Brokerage accounts, you mentioned Open Schwab. Brokerage accounts can work as well because it's not unreasonable to assume, hey, these were my earnings I got from, doing my billions thing or, or whatnot. So I don't to answer this question, I don't know if there's an exact list. I think it's just like over time we've generally learned. There used to be. So everybankbonus.com did have an alternate site called everydatapoint.com, but then those guys
Hmm.
sold. And I don't think
Oh.
it's around anymore.
I wonder who they sold it
So
to.
they sold it to They sold it to
Oh,
bankbonus.com.
okay.
So it's a funny story. So like they sent out like a I wouldn't call it like a prospectus or something, but like basically like here's some insights into like how the website operates and things you might want to know. And like the opening bid, they were just taking opening bids. So like I was talking to a few people, my group, like, hey, we could buy this and do something with it. And then it immediately jumped up to like 30 grand. I was like, I don't know about
Hmm.
30 grand. So I think bankbonus.com bought it and just redirected it to their site. So they're no more.
Hmm. Wow. That's interesting. Huh. So is there like Dr. Credit? Is there like if I'm a person right now, because I'm just trying to think for most people and even people I know, if I'm a person right now that's making like 2,000 a month, and that's just how much I'm making, and that's from my normal day job and everything. What are the first steps you would take as someone just getting started? Say they have the risk tolerance in the world, no problem. Like where would you start, and how would you kind of progress as a person into being able to achieve, thousands a year in bank account sign up bonus hunting, you think?
Well, that's a good question. I'm the first one to tell people I don't always do like the most responsible financial. So like just like sometimes it's just fun for me. People are like, does the math even work? I'm like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's fine. Um,
Like 100
I,
grand deposit for $100 cash.
I, I mean, I've done 100 before, but I think it was more so for like it was like Capital One, like some when the rates started to go up, we saw a lot of banks saying like, "Hey, give us more money. We'll honor the interest rate of like three, four
Ah,
percent plus. We'll give you like $1,000." I've done a few of those,
that's
but
cool.
in fairness, it, that's where I hold my money that I'm going to do like real estate things with. I know
Yeah.
you want to get to that too, so
Eh,
but for
whatever.
someone starting out, I think I will use our friend Abdulali for an example if I can. I don't think he would mind me
Mm,
saying this, but he's a
nah.
he's a young man. He's just now starting out. Good for him. He graduated. He's going to college. We'll be working for him someday, right? But it's not reasonable to assume someone like that is making like 10 grand a month. I'm not either, but
Hmm.
so what we did for him is I say let's just start out with one. Let's get you doing one and then get you comfortable with that. So you got a direct deposit. I want you to get comfortable, figure out what your company's rules are on changing your direct deposit. Because if I
Hmm.
can start you out not even spoofing it or anything like that, by all means. I think we started them out on Chime. And I'm okay. Well, how about Capital One next? And we're just doing one at a time. And you're slowly starting to build your bankroll because once they pay out, Capital One was like what 300, 350. Now you've got an extra $350,
Hmm.
and you did Chime last week. When you got $450, you're slowly starting to build it up. Then you can choose what you want to do with that money. And in addition, there are some that don't, to your point, like, once you're good at doing, once you're comfortable doing like a Wells Fargo direct deposit, well, you can also, to your point, start like doing Charles Schwab on parallel because Charles Schwab is in a direct deposit. It was like fund $50,
Yeah.
right? You start getting more comfortable with it. You can start to do a little bit more in all the videos. I have a Google Drive, like Excel spreadsheet that people can download
Hmm.
free, edit it to your heart's content. Just an easy way to track the requirements and the bonus and all the dates you need.
Wow.
But I start you out with just, one a check. Then we can move to two if you feel comfortable. Then we can start moving to things in parallel. And then, and for him and I, like we decided, like, hey, a reasonable goal would be, can I make $1,000 a quarter? And like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's fantastic. Like an extra, like, I mean, think about it, like if you're a student, you're about to go off to school, an extra $1,000 a quarter, like that's
Yeah.
significant, that's significant, and that's good. And then once you've done that, then it's kind of up to you, like how much more aggressive do you want to be? Do you want to start getting into trying to use Wise and trying to use a business account, things like that, or are you comfortable with where you're at? But that's generally how we start out, start to scale up to just build that bankroll up.
Hmm.
The big ones, the bigger ones that require like, hey, I need to lock up a large amount of money for a while. Like those are probably going to be out of reach for quite some time. And you can also make the argument now that those don't make as much sense as they used to. In
Hmm.
2020, when there were no interest rates, for risk-free return, those always made sense. But now you got to decide. You can find 5% accounts, if you wanted to. Just sticking out the simplest of investments, if you will. Obviously, you could do much more with your money, but those always don't make sense anymore. So that's how it starts you out and get you going.
Hmm. As you're saying this and like how possible it might really be, I might make it a thing. Like maybe we do something in the future where I'm gonna try to get like $1,000 this month or something like that. Like someone who's never really I've never done. Actually, I think I've only done brokerage bonuses. I don't think I ever did a bank at maybe Capital One like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but I can't remember. Maybe we make it like a thing.
I mean, we make
RJ
it.
got me to 1,000 in a month.
I mean, we can make it a thing. We can come back and we can do. How about? I mean, I don't. It's your show. I'm on your home turf. I don't want to speak for you, but if folks are
Yeah.
generally interested in this, and you're generally interested, I mean, we could do something as simple as could come back and we could build out the plan of. To your point, okay, you want $1,000, in a quarter. We could sit down, build that plan out to the point where we've got like, hey, these are the bonuses you're going to go after in order, and it'll give us a chance to talk through, some planning and things
Hmm.
like that, and then people could play along. I mean, some of them are state specific, but I don't see like too many. If you more like they end up being more like regional, so enough people should be able to play along at home or swap some stuff. But we could do something like that. I think it'll
Okay.
be fun.
I think it would be really interesting, and that would inspire a lot of people. I think like if I'm doing it with no active income, and
Just a
all that. I
just a
mean, very
deadbeat
small.
bro, just a deadbeat
Yeah.
realtor, man. Just
Just man, I tell you, I remember there was like 6 months with nothing, and then within 2 days, I got two closings, and it was like all the money that I should have made in 6 months. But those 6 months is nothing, So just
oh,
takes
I
time to
bet.
get everybody friggin' closed, especially nowadays. Um, Lilith asked a question that I don't want to go unanswered. I don't think I'm smart enough to understand it. He says this may be a dumb question, but maybe you understand. He said, "Is there a bank's cashback that's stronger than another's? Assuming you're not just redeeming as statement credit slash money to the bank, like how Discover back in the day would give you like 10% more on gift cards and stuff. So I guess which he's thinking like, is there a bank's
Oh, I
cashback that's
got you.
stronger or another?
I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, nothing comes to mind. I mean, so yes, I mean, to your point, like on occasion, you can see specials where, like, hey, if you redeem, like, they'll do discounts on gift card redemptions or things like that. Or, like, just off the top of my head, on occasion, Chase will have like the portal where like you'll get 10 or 20% off Apple products or something like that if you go through their portal. So there are things like
Hmm.
that that do come up. Um, but not nothing comes to mind as like one that's like necessarily stronger. I The thing I look at for cashback was more so like what are my redemption options and how easy is it to redeem. So like how City came back and was like, okay, hey, thank you points. You can finally just redeem any amount you want. You can put them
Hmm.
all in one card. Even though for whatever reason on the premier advertisement they still advertise like, hey, do it for gift cards, which seems odd. Um, if I look for that, like everyone knows my love hate with U.S. Bank. Like I do like U.S. Bank cards, but because of their like $25 increments, I find that
Hmm.
very annoying. So like to me, I would rank that as less as an inferior cashback system because of the hoops I have to jump through. I
Hmm.
think you're looking. I mean, because I go to the spirit of the question, like you're looking like your Schwab rec in the beginning. I was like, hey, it's 1.1, but yeah, I mean, but yes, but you got the $700 annual
Yeah.
fee, right? So I wouldn't really, because of that handicap, I wouldn't necessarily count it. Um, there are some, like there's this new Amex card. It's not by Amex, but it's by this company called like Neon Money Club. I know nothing about them other than I got sent this card to look at the other day. And there's some kind of like broke. It's not like a plug. I'm just but
Yeah,
their setup is like it's 1.5x on everything. But if you redeem the cash back to buy stocks on their platform, then it goes to like 3%. But of course, the
oh,
card's got like a $128 annual fee. And
uh,
for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to sign up for any of their products on their website, which is not a good sign.
yeah,
But the card is metal though, so there's that.
okay.
Metal
That's all
always
that
means
matters.
expensive or terrible. Usually, it's like one of the two.
Right,
But
yeah. Hmm,
now there's not. I mean, you run into some others like, I think it comes down to more like the redemption, like even like the Rocket Mortgage card that we took a look at. Is like, hey, if you redeem towards your closing costs, then it's 5% back. If not, so you see more like that, but
yeah.
just straight cash out to his question, nothing unless I'm missing something. If I am, feel free to tell me in the comments. But no, I think it's generally that's kind of what you're looking at, separate of any kind of like redemption special promotion or something.
Hmm,
Which I guess is
interesting.
another win for travel because sometimes you do see those travel deals where you can travel like 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2 Hilton points or something. I don't think you see
Yeah,
that too much on cashback unless
huh,
it's through a shopping portal.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, the shopping portals can get you some stuff back, that's true. And Lilith says he appreciates your, answer on that.
They didn't warn you. Like when I do a Q&A, like I do like 2 minutes a question, and like the thing ends up being like an hour long. Like, dude, I can just ramble through it. I like to
It's
give
great.
people a thorough answer. Thorough answer. Like I hate the Q&As where people just say yes, next question. Like, you didn't help me. You just said yes, but I don't know why. But then I end
Yeah.
up stammering around thinking about it for like 2 minutes.
I think probably people appreciate it because whoever asked that question, there's 50 other people who had that same, or at some point had that same question. So I think I appreciate it at least. So that's
Fair enough.
um, kind of jumping to some of the Discord questions because it kind of relates to our conversation about bank bonuses. Mr. JP Buffett, another content creator, he said, "What was RJ's most difficult bank bonus to hit?" Hmm.
To hit, I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's hard
they're
to
all they're
tap
all
a few
well
buttons.
to hit, they're all fairly easy, but like to get paid out, I'm gonna change it slightly because to get
Hmm.
paid out is really the answer. Because they hit them, they all want the same thing. Give me the direct deposit, give me money, and use your debit card. Like that's they're not like
Hmm.
that hard. But to get paid out, some of them just end up being just so awful. Okay, go to bank. So go to bank is a neo fintech bank, and this wasn't necessarily for my bonus. This was for my referrals piece, right? So the whole benefit of the second channel in the blog, but neither one of them make like maybe $100 a month on my ads, and maybe a few dollars a day. But the
Hmm.
benefit is when you can refer people, and so I've done like $1,500 in referrals for GoToBank,
Hmm.
and not it took they didn't send me anything for a long time. I chatted in with them. I was like, hey, am I eligible? Make sure my account's good standard. Like, yeah, you're eligible. Finally, after months, I'd kind of like written it off. And the reason I'd write it off is you're not really all the bonuses have rules that say you're not supposed to share it like in social media. You're supposed to share it with your friends, but I consider everyone who launches a friend. But they would feel differently. So I don't have that big of an argument to stand on, I guess. But one day, GoToBank sent me like they'd paid me two up front and then nothing for months. And then they sent me like 14 emails, like separate emails that say, hey, there's $100 in your account that's supposed to be there from the referrals, from all the referrals I did.
Hmm.
And I go to the account, there's nothing there, of course.
Huh.
So I call them, like, hey, what's going on? They're like, all right, we'll look into it. I finally get them to open the ticket. Nothing. Call back later. Nothing. Call back again. Nothing. So like, fine, I'm tired of this. So I go to CFPB, open a complaint. It's actually my first CFPB complaint. So it's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Hmm.
For those who might not be, I hope you're not familiar with it actually, so you don't want to end up here. But their whole gig is, to make sure customers are treated fairly by banks. When you have issues like this, you can file a complaint. The CFPB, they don't step in necessarily to make a ruling, but they kind of it's like dad stepping in when kids are fighting and say, "Hey, cut it out."
Yeah.
Right? Take a look. So
Take
CFPB actually closed my complaint, but
Huh.
they did refer it. They referred it to The Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. So across the country, there are like Federal Reserve banks that are kind of it's divided up regionally, and their job is to like govern banks in their region. You can see
Yeah.
why this is already getting hard. It's hard story to follow. It's why it was hard to get paid out. And so they're like, "All right, we got your complaint." Then Green Dot Bank, which is the behind go-to bank, sends me an email, says, "Call this phone number." I thought it was going to be a regular person. It was not. It was basically their customer support line. They open another ticket. Nothing. Now I'm just committed at this point. Call back. Nothing. Finally, one day randomly, I think you get a call like 7 o'clock Eastern time. I missed it, but then I got an email from them say, "Hey, we ruled in your favor. You know, we found it. We messed up. We corrected it. The money was there, plus like a $60 I'm sorry credit." So that whole saga was like probably 3 months
Wow.
to get it resolved. Normally, I just say I'd charge it to the game, but it's like $1,500, man. So I wanted my money. So that was the
Yeah.
hardest one. That was by far the most work I've done to get paid out. Uh, it usually doesn't come to that. I don't want to scare people off. It usually doesn't come to that. But that was by far the worst. I
Jeez.
won, but oh man.
Yeah, you got your money eventually. Well, that's also a little bit different because you were, pushing it out to all your friends
Well,
on
that's the
YouTube,
dangerous part because when you file like a CM, not that anyone asked, but like
It's
we when you do this stuff, we are on the edge of the terms and the spirit of the terms
Mm,
and conditions, right? Much like the credit cards, they say,
yeah.
don't game the system. And so you only, yes, they owe you the money, but you only have so much room to operate in because if the wrong person looks into it, because it's not an uncommon question. If you have an issue with a referral, they say, okay, well, what's the name and email address of the person you referred? Which it shouldn't be a hard question because I should be referring you as my friend. I should just
Mm,
know that. Not that you know what happens, right? We're not slick, but you
yeah.
kind of know how they're going to push back. So I think another thing that I try to do is take the stuff I've learned in banking, and they're not the funnest videos, but they're the behind the scenes videos where it's like, okay, this because I know that GoTo Bank sent me 14 emails, I know that their system of record has acknowledged that I completed the requirements. So it should no longer be a question of who I referred. It's a question of where's my money because most like every company is required to have a system of record. When
Mm,
auditors come in, you check the system of record. And these are the topics that aren't fun, but they're so important because they're the difference between you making a much stronger argument versus getting beaten by a customer service rep who just wants to name an email. So I think
yeah.
the more you go, the more we can like teach people about the behind the scenes of it, being in it. I think that helps a lot.
Huh. After all that, what was the easiest bank? Sign up bonus.
Oh, the easy. I mean, the
Chime.
easiest one this year. Chime is by far the easiest. Because Chime will usually pay you out as soon as the money hits. But for me, this year, that's why I like to show people Chime because you can see it instantly. A lot of these
Mm,
banks make you wait 90 days to get paid, and people are
uh,
like, "Is it coming? Is it not coming?" Experian started a bonus, which is a whole people are like a whole conflict of interest thing with the credit agencies, the deposit account game.
yeah.
Experian is one that I opened. It's only $50, but they took. I sent a payment from my business account, and Amex was able to do it same day. I guess did it early enough, and so they paid me out. So I opened the account, sent the money, and got the bonus all in the same day. It beat my micro deposits to link my account so I could withdraw the bonus. Like that was the quickest one I've had this year. Like just boom, here's $50, done.
Wow.
It's always fun when it happens that way.
Definitely, definitely. I can't believe that story though. That's freaking nuts. I can imagine going through that, and just being like, "Is this enough? Okay, is this enough? And this is enough? It's not enough." That's
It's
jeez.
just annoying when they
Oh,
tell you, like, okay, you opened a ticket. Like, what else is there? I mean,
yeah,
but it's like dealing with any other company, right? It's just the difference with banks is the banks have your money, right? Like, everyone's been in a fight with Comcast. Like, everyone's been in a fight with their cell phone company.
hmm,
I just got off the phone with Verizon yesterday fighting with them. I wanted to move my line to a new account. It's just ridiculous. But the banks have your money, though. Like, that's the thing.
yeah,
Like you saw what happened, like a lot of these banks, it wasn't the bank's fault, but there was an issue with some payment processor. getting
Yeah.
uploading people's checks to like the Federal Reserve, the ACH system. Like
Hmm.
they got your money, man. It's tough. So the more we know, the more we can arm ourselves with. That's also why I have no sympathy for them when we take their money. Like I'm not anti-bank, but I'm not gonna feel bad for you. Chase charged me a $15 incoming wire fee for no reason, and I'm gonna feel bad about taking their money. Come on, there's no reason for a $15 fee.
Huh. This is making me think. Are you familiar with Calby's video back in the summer, the God Trifecta with the built card and the curve card, and are you familiar with that at
He's
all?
I've seen people talk about running things through Curve and like don't you pick up like an extra point or something?
Yeah, one
You know,
percent cashback.
yeah, yeah.
So he well for those unaware, he came up with this method that essentially like you said, you could take the curve card and move it from any transaction. If I put it on my Capital One Mastercard, Quicksilver card, and I can bring it over to my Built card and at any given time. And that was kind of the idea, is because Built has rent day, so everything is doubled. So his idea was I could just spend anything I want in 30 days, use the curve card to put that transaction on the first and get double everything. There was some contention with that, of course, and has since now been we call it the Calby clause, but they completely rewrote the terms and conditions, and now you're not. It literally says like, I don't know, change the payment to some other third
It's
party,
a
whatever.
badge of honor. It's a
Yes,
badge of honor. He broke the bank. Like
he broke the bank.
that's fantastic. Like that's
So
what you want.
yes, so but in that we got some side conversations about, well, it was immoral, or we shouldn't be doing this to built, and it's just wrong to be doing. Do you have any feelings like that? Like, or is that okay? Because it's just an exploit, and if it's available out there, that's my mindset. My mindset is like, it was there at some point in the next millennium. Someone's going to figure that out and they're going to do it. And then this is why things like this happen. That's why criminals and laws are put into place, because, well, someone exploited something and then that we weren't aware of. And then we made a law for that. So now they changed it to the Cowboy Clause. So are you of the mindset like that too? Like, just it's going to happen. You might as well take advantage, or you think it's like wrong to do?
That's a good question. I mean, I will admit to like yes, we were operating outside of the spirit of the rules in the program. I will also say that I have had the luxury and dripped in sarcasm of sitting in those rooms where the greatest legal minds in the bank sit around and argue about what words we can and can't use and the order of terms and conditions, and they're all much smarter than me because they went to law school and I didn't.
Hmm.
And my thing is that the bank can stop this at any time. And I think it's fun to think you're really smart, right? Like I'll just talk about me. Like we all when the trifecta Chase trifecta first came out, we all thought we were a genius. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he put these three cards together. It's built that way on purpose, right?
Hmm.
And these banks, they know what they're doing, right? They know what they're doing. They know we exist. And I don't think we're a big enough community to necessarily bother them, but it is always fun when you see your impact. You're like, yeah, I bet I had something to do with it. Because there's a few promotions I think we've gotten canceled. But
Really?
no, I don't think it's wrong because they wrote the terms and conditions. They specified what a new customer is. They specified how many times I can do this and what I have to do to get paid out. And they want to change it, they can. And I mean, it's not like the bank is losing, right? They still get to show new accounts open, which is a pretty big metric. They're going to show to their investors, look at our growth. We got this many new accounts. The ones where they get to hold your money, they're still going to loan it out at much higher rates. So it's not like they're losing. Are they winning as much? No, but I mean, for every one person that maximizes this, there's 10 people who sign up because it sounds cool and never do it or misread the
Hmm.
terms and conditions. So no, I don't feel bad for them because I don't really think they're losing. Yes, it's not in the spirit of the terms and conditions, but neither is Barrett writing the terms and that's small of fun, or neither is the fee schedule. How many average people know that you need to go if you want to find the fees? You should actually probably search fee schedule on the bank's website, and maybe you find something. Like
Hmm.
that's not. I've been banking with Chase for a long time. I didn't even know there's an incoming wire fee of $15. For what? No, I have no sympathy for them. They know what we're doing. We're not that smart. They know what we're doing,
Hmm.
and there's acceptable tolerances on their side that they're letting us do, and so no, I don't feel bad for them at all. I wouldn't. No one should feel bad for the banks. Like it's fine. Like, I wouldn't.
It's
That's
fine.
amazing. If I was Calvi, that'd be. I love that about him. I like him more now.
Right?
I liked him before, but I like him more now.
Oh yeah, he's constantly thinking like that. I actually have one now that I'm happy to say I've created and I thought of, and hasn't been banned yet. So I'm waiting for it to get banned so I can have that kind of
And the
notoriety.
good
But
ones you keep to yourself. That's for you don't make the
well,
videos. You tell Discord people. You tell them it gets out of
right,
hand. You know.
yeah, right, yeah, that's true. I have what the Yotta card is?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing that same thing with the curve card. So it's like any charge that I have, I'm putting it through the curve to charge the Yotta card. If the item I got, because you have a metric in there, it's like, I don't know, they say like 1% chance of getting something for free. So I'm like, okay, cool. If I don't get it for free, I'll just transfer it to like the Chase Freedom Flex and I'll just get my points anyway. So I'll just keep doing it until I get something for free. Matter of fact, I got something for free in Vegas with Chad Calby, Manny Covington. We got
Nice.
a whole like $80 dinner for free. And that one I didn't rewind time. I
I
just
mean,
left it.
that's the game, or is not every. I mean, yeah, we've all seen the stroke billions, right? Are they not? I mean, yes, there's a fine line between insider trading, but is everyone not looking for that edge? Looking for the thing that the other guy doesn't know, looking to exploit. If I'm a
Yeah.
trader and I know something, like, am I supposed to
Mm,
tell the company, or am I supposed to just start shorting it? Like, we could have this art
yeah.
discussion about like a bunch of different things, and I will acknowledge the moral gray area of this, sure, but
Yeah.
the banks do not have the same sympathy for you um, at all. I mean, and then just think about how many people like I go on Reddit a lot to look for topics, right? So I like to answer the questions that don't get answered a lot. And I feel like if they're on Reddit, someone else probably has the question. Think
Hmm.
about all the questions of the bank stole my money, or this happened with the bank, or that happened with the bank. And really, what happened is the person got caught up tripping like a risk tolerance on the bank's end, right?
Hmm.
And there are rules. To a degree, it makes sense why the bank wouldn't tell you what's going on because they'd be giving you potentially the blueprint on how to get away with the nefarious activities. But they don't tell you anything. They don't assign a case manager. They don't tell you when your money's going to be free. Like they don't tell you anything. Like so because they're protecting themselves. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they do the same exact things, and so I don't think it's wrong. Just like hey, it's healthy competition. Sometimes the bank will change the terms, and I smile and say, "Okay, well played, well played. We'll find the next one." I don't expect them
Yeah.
to leave the vault open and let us take everything they can, but it's fun
Right.
to do it. So yeah, no, I don't. I don't worry about the bank, man. Plus, the bankers don't care. You go meet a banker; they're happy to open these things up for you because
Right.
they
Yeah.
usually get credits for opening up
Mm,
accounts.
yeah.
So yeah, I think
That's
everyone wins, really.
seems so. And you actually made me think on a tangent a little bit with your earlier what you were saying earlier about how they sign up for a new bank, sign up for a new credit card. This data gets put onto the balance sheets, like oh, new accounts opened. Shareholders see that every quarterly earnings, and they're like, oh, new accounts open, cool. All right, they're still doing well. People still making, deposits are going up in that bank. So obviously, it does well for the stock, and the company grows. Market capitalization grows. So do you think it's almost like a treadmill where it's like you can't actually stop if you're a bank and you're like, man, all these people are taking our credit card rewards, or man, everyone's doing bank account bonuses, like I'm talking hundreds of years from now, maybe when everyone's doing it somehow because YouTube's amazing. Do you think it's something that's like you couldn't stop it, like we couldn't just end bonuses at all on these new products, because if we do, our stock's going to get crushed because we have no new accounts and no new balances? I don't know, it's just a
Uh,
tangential thought.
I mean, I think most of I would guess most of their money comes from like wealth management products and things like that.
Yeah,
But the way to
probably.
get people in the door very early on is through credit cards and deposit accounts. I don't I don't know how much it would like crush the major banks. I don't because even when the banks were collapsing or which I think was also overblown, the news would have people like, I'm just going to Bank of America because Bank of America is safe. I was like, didn't
Yeah.
isn't Bank of America the one sitting with like a $6 billion
Yeah.
unrealized exposure or something? But the average
Yeah.
person's like never gonna know that. And like fine. But I think that if they really wanted to stop it, all they would have to do is institute a once per lifetime clause like American Express does, right?
Yeah, that's
You'd
a
have
good
to say
point.
once per social security number. I do think it's a hard sell to get because people don't wake up thinking like I want to go to the bank and open up a new account. You usually only
Yeah.
switch products when someone has really, really upset you, right?
Yeah.
Um, car insurance the same way. We talked about like phone carriers as the
Hmm.
example. Just about everyone, they need something to get you in the door.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so I don't think it's going away. I don't know if it would crush them. I did without the bonuses. I think it would be much harder to attract new customers for sure. Even people they want, because people they want really need that. Attract. I mean, how many times you go on Reddit and you see somebody who's like, "I got this card by mistake. I saw the offer. I didn't know I was getting into." Like that's
Yeah.
the average person. It's kind of crazy. But I think
Very
so
often.
I don't think they can get rid of offers and keep getting. Because how many times would you go to the bank branch to open up a new account, like if they weren't offering you something for it? Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't.
Never.
Really.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think they're going away. They could easily keep us out if they wanted to, though, with a once per lifetime rule. Because some banks do it. Neo fintech banks do it a lot. Just say, "Hey, once per lifetime." But then they also have the referral programs. Like I don't churn them anyways. I keep them open for the referral. So
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. And just by the way, you good on time?
yeah, I'm good. I got nowhere.
Okay.
You think I got a date late or something? I got nowhere to be, man. This is what I'm doing. You and these 49 other lovely people we're hanging out with, are hanging
Right.
strong with us.
Let's
We just keep going. Make it a podcast. We just keep going.
hell yeah, man. I'm down. That's so funny. Yeah, you mentioned you mentioned a couple times just man, no life and the internet connection, you make a lot of money. That's all you gotta do.
That's all I do. It's like my normal day is like I'm just turned this way instead of being turned this way. Like that's just like okay.
That's right. Revenus says he's got a date to the watch store to grab another Rolex. That's what you gotta do.
Hey man, go get yourself a president, man. Why not? Solid. Get the rose gold.
Wait, rose gold?
Yeah, the rose the color. It's a rose gold watch. Then they make them. You don't like gold. You're wearing a gold. You're yellow gold.
Classic gold, baby. And this you don't know this is a whole contention in the whole like community. You aware?
Is of your community?
Yes.
Rose gold versus yellow gold? Is this really that strong? I'm not. No, I'm not talking about the knockoff Amex color. I'm talking about like legitimate like rose gold.
Look, I get you're a baller and everything, but I'm talking about like the Amex Gold card. Okay,
That
look
card's
at this.
pink. The rose gold is pink. Like
Oh, it's not
it's
even
not.
rose gold to you.
Yeah, it looks pink. Does it not look pink to you?
Okay, hold on. Let me catch you to speed. So basically, for the last year, me and CJ have been feuding. He's actually in the chat right now. He happens to be here perfectly, screaming rose gold. He's team rose gold. I'm team classic gold. Uh, the Amex Gold card, right? Now CJ screaming. Oh God, I think you started an issue. You weren't even aware that you were getting into this problem.
I was making about watches and my guy who was going to the Rolex store after this. You guys made about cards.
It's
Like
about cards. It's
I
always
didn't even
about
know we
cards.
talked about cards here. But
But you,
okay.
I'm sorry, but you. So that's a pink card to you. It's not even rose gold. Wow.
I was pro rose gold until they made it. They took it when they had it as limited edition. I thought it was a fun, cool thing. And then
Hmm.
there's like, oh, let's just make it a normal thing. I was like, nah, it looks pink to me. Like I've seen them in person where it looks pink. I don't think it looks bad. I just don't think it looks like rose gold. But every company has their own shade of rose gold. Rolex has Ever Rose. What does Omega call theirs? I can't remember. They all have different names for it. So everyone has their own shade of rose gold. So it kind of fits. But it looks pink to me.
Wow. So would it be fair to assume that you appreciate like the original Amex Gold card, the way it looks, the
Yeah.
non-pink?
I was like, if I had to pick, so you mean if I respond my business goal offer, my email, like which color would I get?
Yes.
Well, I had the gold card before the rose gold one was an option. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you gotta go classic gold.
Let's go. Let's
I
go.
think you go
Yes.
classic gold. If the rose gold had stayed limited edition, then I would say rose, but because now it's just open to everyone. Like the Delta Reserve card, there was that Boeing plane. That card was
Yes.
sick. But
Right?
if they just kept making it for everyone, then it's not as cool. But
Yes.
that card was sick.
That's right. That's right. I keep saying it like every podcast. Somehow it comes up, but I keep offering Stan. He got the Delta one. I keep saying I'll buy it off you for like $200. Like I want that
You
friggin'
can't
limited
get
edition Delta.
replacements. They're out of cards though. Like so, if he did it, you have to go back to the purple one.
Yeah, he should
Might as well
sell
sit
it
in
to
the
me.
back of the plane with a purple one. Like, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I guess there's only one one plane. CJ said he's unsubscribing now, unfortunately, because
Hurts.
you went against it. It hurts. His other
Hurts.
23,000
Hurts
people
deep.
are He's so disappointed his heart can't take it. Oh my god, I can't. You know what's funny? I'm on a friggin' pink thing on my phone here on the
Oh, the crypto
crypto.com.
card thing, yeah.
Friggin' rose. I guess that's rose gold too. I don't know. But
That one looks pink too.
unbelievable. It's all pink. That's great. But at least
Card
okay.
art
Yeah.
matters, it doesn't matter. Like I never understand why the issuers don't embrace the unboxing culture of like just put it in a nice envelope like the Apple Card. Like just people care. Like I still
Hmm.
see comments like, "Why is Chase still using embossed numbers? No one else does that." Like people care more than you would think. So I get it.
Oh yeah, I think that's why Built did a good job with their packaging and everything like that. I was watching Stan's unboxing of his Built card, and it was I have the Built card too, but it opens up, it feathers out. They have good words on there and everything. And also, I'm so upset. Like I feel like I was one of the last people to not get the or like it just changed to where the Amex Platinum wasn't coming in the nice box. Like I had my Platinum like 4 years now, and I
Oh, it
remember
did
people.
came in a box, and it came in like a wooden tray and everything. Like it was like
Hmm.
hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one that was a box, but it was like the normal box that it comes in now. So I was so upset I didn't get it. But you're right. The packaging matters for sure. Like,
I've never understood
yeah,
why. I don't. I'm just going all over the place. So you let me know if you want to get back to your agenda.
yeah,
But like,
you're
I've
good.
never understood why the banks didn't like if a new phone's coming out, they'll have like even if Apple doesn't or Samsung doesn't bring everyone, to Cupertino, like they have Samsung Unpacked, Google I/O. Like why not just have like if you're launching a new credit card, why not just have like an hour, 2 hour thing where you just bring a I'm not even talking about me, right? Like you'd bring like the big shots of YouTube and blogging, besides TPG, I'm sure he knows everything. Sit
Hmm.
down, show them the stuff, tell them about it, send them a dummy card with their name on it so they have something to unbox and do like, hey, here's our brand new card launch, just like phones, just like cars. Like I never understood why
Yeah.
they don't care enough to do that. Like I do you to your earlier question, do you have to keep spending so much on intro offers if you just did that? I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
I've always wondered like what it would cost them to do it realistically and just have effectively have everyone else do the marketing for you based off of like one marketing phone call, which can't be that hard to run.
No, I mean, like that's a great point and idea. I never would have considered that. Like, if we, like, forget it. If this started to become a thing, and say that Delta Reserve came out and they just sent it to like Marquise Brownlee, and he just, he would,
Yeah,
he did a whole video like, wow, look at that. It's actually the plane. It's embedded. It's embossed. That would be such hype. That alone, the numbers would drive enough to, yeah, not even, lower some of these sign up bonuses just because the marketing would be so good.
you'd get
And
a.
it,
I think you get some people. I mean, again, like, I was ever rule you should be paid to open up a financial product. So like, I'm not going to tell you to apply for it. Would I do a video on it? Sure. Would I tell you to apply for it without intro offer? No. But I mean, some people just look. I'm like, hey, that's a card. I want a card. If nothing else, like it would.
yeah,
I don't know. I think it would serve as a whole nother arm of marketing. I don't think it would cost that much. I'm talking about just dummy cards with the card art
yeah,
because people care. The amount of times people ask if it's metal, like I don't know, does it matter? But yes, it obviously matters because people are asking about it.
yes,
It's like we laugh at these companies like X1 and there's a drop test on their website. More
mm,
people should probably do that because people care. Like they do.
yes.
Like,
It's branding,
I've
it's
just always
marketing.
wondered that.
I mean, that's why I think Chase Sapphire Reserve did so well because wasn't it like the first at least widespread metal credit card? I'm not sure if
Like to the public,
yeah.
I think so. 'Cause the platinum was still plastic back then, wasn't it? Or had it
Hmm.
switched?
I
I
think
think it was still
Reserve was
plastic.
first. Yeah. Huh. So
Yes,
this is
small
right.
change.
That's
Small
it.
change.
Mark Hott came in also very hot, and he did a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Mark.
Nice.
He said, "Fan of RJ's. With changing
Oh, thank
banks
you,
so
sir.
many times." Or he said, "With changing banks so many times, how long does it take to establish a relationship? Should you stay with any bank for a long time?" Hmm.
So, what I do is I have what I call hub accounts or home base accounts, and there are a few accounts that you don't churn, right? So for me, I think Chase deposit accounts are terrible. I really do. Chase is very
Hmm.
hypersensitive in their risk policies and everything. But I have my college account. I haven't been class in like 10 years, but I still have it, and it's just because I had all my. At the time I had so many Chase. Well, I still have a lot of Chase cards. So for me, that's like kind of like my personal operating account. That's an account where your mortgage payments are coming from, your car payments are coming from, your bill pays, things like that. And I would not close that account. Everything's generally linked to that account.
Hmm.
Ally Bank's my savings account. I have to keep a Bank of America checking account to be eligible for my preferred rewards. Then you've got some other accounts, but I mean, if they're referrals, then I keep them open as well. But I'd say to answer your question, I wouldn't look at it as like I have a relationship with Chase because I think it's hard to get a relationship if you're just doing everything online. Relationships like, hey, I go in branch, I see people, I know people. You can make the argument that having money on deposit at a bank and having more products with them, there's potential that somewhere in their approval process there is a variable for like, hey, what's their history with us? It's possible, like they'll never tell us what their underwriting piece is. So I'm never like super into like I'm never worried about the relationship component of it, but you never want to be like without a banking home, right? Because it'd be too much work to like move account, then change your mortgage, change your car
Yeah.
payment, all that stuff. So plus, if you do that too many times, eventually you're gonna get burned by something not working right or something not linking correctly. Every so often, I have trouble linking an account. So I would say whatever account works best for you. Again, it's Chase for me because uh, I don't go into the branch that much, but I do carry cash. I do write checks for things on occasion. I do pay for things in cash sometimes. Like you're a real estate guy. You when the guy comes to fix your house, you always ask him what the cash price is, right? So I do that
Hmm.
stuff, and I don't. You're like, no, I don't. I'm on the up and up, sir. I write
No.
checks. Like, okay, never mind. Law-abiding citizens here,
No.
but
I don't own a
no,
house, so
I don't want to go around and like have to play the game of like what ATM can I use this debit card? Like I don't want to do that. So that's how it ended up being Chase. But I say pick the account that works best for you. Keep that one and just understand like you're not going to get a bonus on it every year. That's
Hmm.
actually how Amex ended up being my legit business account because they're a once per lifetime thing, just like their cards, and they believe it or not, it's really hard to find a business checking account that doesn't like charge fees. So like they
Hmm.
work. It's also really hard to find a bank with a good user interface. So
True.
that's kind of how I look at it. For more so just for my ease of use than actually like building like a relationship per se. I mean, because by default I should have the best relationship with Bank of America because I'm in preferred rewards. But their system is awful, so like I just use their credit cards and I keep $5 to keep a checking account open. So that's how I would
Gotcha.
handle that. It's a good question though. Good question.
Yeah, appreciate that, Mark, coming in with that super chat and Dollar Man from earlier. Appreciate both of you guys. Um, interesting. Um, okay, so people are they're hating on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. They're saying it deserves to be plastic, and
It's basically flat. It's the flimsiest metal thing there is. I got the
yeah,
Wells Fargo autograph a month ago. It feels the same consistency as the Sapphire Reserve does. Like it's that
really,
thin piece of metal. I was actually surprised. I wouldn't say the autograph is metal, but it definitely isn't plastic. It definitely isn't just plastic.
huh?
The Sapphire Reserve does need to bulk up a little bit. It's a Sapphire Preferred is you just expect it from the Sapphire Preferred, like okay, whatever, fine, $95. But the Reserve, it's really not like that solid. It's not an impressive metal. Like you hand it to the cashier, you're not getting her phone number off of it. I mean, come on, it's a platinum move.
Have you done that before in the past? Have you given them a metal card and they wrote it on the back
I've
or
had
something?
them drop it and it there used to be like this cafeteria at work and like it had like a metal like you slide your tray on it like the rails were metal and like it
Yeah.
dropped and it clanged and it was like that was the whole thing. You feel like you think it sounds cool, you just feel like a loser because like they're like, oh, what's that? Then you got to explain it and like you pay money for a card, like it
Oh
doesn't
my
come off
god.
nearly as cool as like people think it would. Like you just feel like a loser.
That is true. I remember showing my my platinum card with the flowers on it once. And I showed it to some dude, and he was like, "That was kind of weird." Like he spoke to somebody on the side, like that was a little weird. I was like, "Well, you're weird. I have a friggin' flowered platinum card. What the hell? What the hell do you have?" But you're right.
Show
Yeah.
some respect.
Yes, it is true though. It's a real. It actually is inherently a pickup line if you're one of those people. Like, I remember there was this girl once. I had the gold card, um, and I remember I like handed it to. She was a waitress, and I handed it to her, and she was like, "Oh, you got money like that?" We were friends, but like that inherent implication like you have money just because you pay $250 a year on a gold card. They don't
I
know
don't know if
that,
you want to go. I
you
don't know
know.
if you want to go on that person. I wouldn't actually making a pickup line, but it does get attention. Like I don't know the right
Yeah.
attention, but that's the Amex brand. Like
Yeah.
because
Right.
people when they figure out what you do, like no one's ever asked me like, do you have Chase cards? I was like, do you have American Express cards? Like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they give them away basically. You want one? I got a ton on the website. Sign up for them. But no, metal card. I mean, people care about the metal. I do like metal cards better. Um, they last longer. I think that's the main thing. They don't get worn and shoot up, but
Yeah,
and people do care. So yes,
for
important.
sure. It's important. We'll get into some of the other Discord questions.
Yeah. So what do people want to know?
The people, well, here's one thing that someone's been asking for a little bit. Mr. Ravenous, who was in here earlier, forgot what he asked earlier, but he wanted to ask you. So I don't know if you've ever seen. I don't know if you've ever seen, but did you ever look at my channel, like the banner above, when you actually click onto it?
I know I've seen it before. I'm just putting me on the spot. I haven't committed to memory.
Here, I got it. So basically, this is it. So it's like 10,000 subs, and I'll stay at the most dangerous hotel in America. That
Oh,
hotel.
okay, yeah.
So Ravenous wants to know if you would want to do the next creator meetup there. That's what he wanted to ask you.
Where's the hotel at? Like, where are we gonna go?
It's it's like, okay, maybe it's North Carolina. It's on the coast.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be in some place in the middle of nowhere, like some,
No, man.
you can't. Well, then my
Okay.
rule is like I'm not going anywhere I can't drink the water. That's kind of like my rule. Like I don't want to have to like worry. I just don't want to have to figure this out. I'm not leaving and making it harder on myself. Sure. I mean, like, what redemptions are we getting, or is it gonna be a straight cash thing? No. Sure. I mean, I think it'd be fun. Like, it's like it seems like I've never heard of this place. Like, why is it so dangerous? Like, it's just it look like it built on a rickety thing from like the 40s.
Yes, it's 58 miles out the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina. Um, It's in the middle of the ocean. Obviously, it was restored like 50 years ago, and there's one guy that bought it for like next to nothing, and he kind of restored it. And then they have some storms in there. It's $1,500, and you have to get airlifted there via helicopter, and that's how they get all the food there. And it's a 3-day stay, but you get to do skeet shooting off the side and like golf and stuff, and they give you food and everything. So
This
it's
sounds
technically the
terrible.
most dangerous hotel in America. So far, we've had 2 other people be like, "Yeah, I'll do the creator meetup there." It's obviously a joke, but they want to know.
It sounds like they do not have a gym. It sounds I'm stuck. 3 days is a long time. Like if it's for a bit, I mean, you could get me there for a night. I think my pushback is not the danger. My pushback is like the 3 days. Like it's like 3 days and you're just like out in the middle of the ocean or whatever. Like that seems
Yeah,
like a bit much. I can swim, but you know, I'm gonna say if we could do an abbreviated one, perhaps.
maybe we gotta work that out. Okay, good to know. And A Run said, "Damn, Pink Polo." Oh, Pink Polo, man. What am I doing? I'm ruining everything. Pink Polo came in with 20 spot. Oh my god. Appreciate you.
Wow, look at this.
He said, "New to Amex, but I love my gold card. Team Rose Gold. Are you kidding me?
When they
What are we
make it
doing?"
real, look, when they make it a real rose gold color, then I'll be team rose gold. It is pink. That's why it's pink, which is fine. I have a pink dress shirt. I have a pink tie. Like it's okay, but like it's pink.
Wait a second. Wait, hold up. What's happening here? DCG coming in with $5. He says, "Here's some Colada cash next time you're in Miami." Is that for me or RJ? Oh my god.
Oh man, this is your show. You put all the work. I'm just saying. It's all you, buddy.
Oh man, you make the show. If I was just talking to myself, man, nobody
Dudes
would be
aren't
here.
paying for me.
But I,
That's dudes. If anything, they're like, dude, you owe me $10. I'm like,
but I'm sorry to say, Pink Polo Team Rose Gold. I mean, you could just refund that purchase now if you want. I mean, I appreciate it, but we can't. I'm kidding.
we're
I'm
hungry.
not
We're
kidding.
not that hungry.
Yeah, we're not that hungry to start
We
supporting
started we
Rose
started the
Gold.
show with like not having we do I mean in this show we've covered like you not having a steady income and moving, me getting canned from 2 banks and starting a new job and you're like, nah, I'm good. I don't need your money. Like,
Yeah,
I think
right.
if anything, this
I
might
do need.
be like the Hungry Creators podcast or something at this point. Like one can't keep a job, one keeps bouncing around as just a grifter. Like what do they do? Why are we taking advice from these people? Like
Oh my god. RJ, RJ,
authenticness that people come for, I guess.
RJ's just in between jobs. The only
Oh, we start at the end of the month, man. We're good, unless anyone sees this, and I don't know, but
I'm just the only way the only way RJ supports his family is just through bank account bonus hunting.
that's why it's just me. I mean, you can do this when you're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. You know, it's kind of
And I have no income. Just bankrupt. Oh my god, that's so funny.
yeah, it's like if you're like John Dillinger, but you were scared of confrontation, so instead of robbing them in person, you just did it online. You're like, all right,
Oh, oh my god, it's been a while since I laughed this hard on a stream. That's funny. Oh, they said I could say, oh, well, pink polo. I appreciate you. Jesus Christ. And they said I could see me wearing a pink polo. I usually do. Oh my god, this is too funny. It's for you, Tony. Oh, thank you, DCG. So when I go to Miami, I'll get a pina colada. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Thank you both. Jesus. What's going on here? RJ, you're making me crazy over here. It's too funny. It's too...
my
Thank you,
worst
everyone,
habit
for
I've
being
picked
here.
up. My worst habit I've picked up from YouTube is I talk to myself like out loud. So I just say crazy things. Well, because I do an outline. And then
Same.
how I get to
Yeah.
like what I want to do is like I will literally like pace back and forth and just like talk. But after enough years, like I just talk to myself all the time, and it's not good. So at least I have someone to talk to now. Like it's probably not good how comfortable I am just talking to myself. I don't know. It's not even a joke. That's a thing that I do now.
Hey, it works. Anytime you're called onto a live stream like this, it works perfectly. And now,
It's like, oh yeah, people are here. I should not tighten it up.
no,
We
and
have
now,
company.
Jesus, CJ, $5. Anthony Venture must say, I apologize for disrespecting Team Rose Gold. I'm not gonna say. I said it. Unbelievable. CJ, come on, man. You know I read everything out. I apologize.
I didn't know
Oh,
this is a whole thing. I
I
mean,
didn't
this
think. Yeah.
gold versus rose gold debate. I really didn't. But see, again, that's why some people like to act like these things matter. Metal matters, the color matters, the card art matters. And like some other thing, we try to act like it doesn't. But again, companies spend a lot of money on marketing and messaging, so it clearly matters, right? So I understand it.
But
I got the Amazon Prime card, and like I was clicking the buttons to change the color, but it didn't change online for whatever reason. So I said, whatever, just submit it. And I picked the Whole Foods option. I didn't want the Whole Foods one. So I actually called them as soon as I noticed. It was like, hey, I know this is dumb, but can you just send me the blue one? Like, yeah, no problem. So I get
wow.
it. I
Yeah,
get it.
it's very
Don't
important.
even care if the card's never left my house. It's never gonna leave my house. It didn't matter, but it did matter.
That's very true. My Merrick Bank card that's now been closed for, millennia, but that's a card too that had a bunch of different options, and I picked the bald eagle, like American flag, really
Mhm.
patriotic one. For that reason, I was like, I want that card because it looks cool, and that's the only reason I got it. And it
It
was a horrible
matters.
card. A Ron said, "Bro, you know Anthony Venture too well, CJ. Yeah, you really now.
That's
CJ's gonna clip this up and make a short out of it. It's me saying I apologize for disrespecting Team Rose Gold. You got to be kidding me! What a joke.
auto-tune
Sorry.
it, like, that Slapshot guy, just gonna go over and over again.
Right, right. Sorry for disrespecting. um, no, thank you to everybody who's here and RJ, of course. This is amazing. Jesus Christ. Another question. I can't. Sledge also hacks to the Discord to you, RJ. He said, "How many black shirts does he have? Meaning, how many do you have?"
Like, of this particular, so I get them from Ministry of Supply. It's really hard for me to find this is gonna sound I mean, he's big, he's a strong guy, so I'm
Yeah.
stronger than him, but it's hard for me to find stuff that fits. Ministry of Supply works. I got, like, 3 or 4 of these black polo shirts. The black T-shirt, I have 10 of, and I just wear one every day, and I always like I'm talking, I should probably have a collar on. And then I was gonna originally, I was gonna be like, "Hey, I should probably wear like a suit," but then I was like, "No one really does that on YouTube, so I should probably dial it back." I have some long sleeve versions of these in black. I think I have 3 of them. I have some actual black dress shirts that I got made by my suit guy in case I really have to dress up. I have white and regular colored shirts too, but that's I have multiples. But I wear
Hmm.
black. I'm in a phase now where I just like to wear the same thing every day. I've gone through a lot of phase. I've gone through the full suit and tie phase, which is
Hmm.
funny because in mortgage, like no one dresses like that. So I was like, dude, I'm an MBA, I'm in banking, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like that's not really what we do here, man. Like, I don't care, suit and tie. And then like, I got a suit guy and everything, and then I went through, just various phases of clothing as one does over the years. And now I'm just really in like the phase of like I'm just wearing this black t-shirt every day. That's what I do. Don't know why. I just go through phases.
I like it in the perspective of you have less decisions to make every day. I like that idea, like not having. Cause I'm with you. Like I said, maybe 8 of these from Target. It's always in the same place. It's always the same setup. Don't have to think about it. Just get it. There we go. And that's it. It's not a big deal. And I have one
Are you,
suit, so for that reason too.
what people would find interesting? I was
Hmm.
telling somebody this a while back. They're like, why black? You know how black started? How it being black everything. I don't think I've ever told this story before. It's
Yeah.
not overly interesting, but so I started going when you started wearing suits. I started going to like a guy who like measure you up. They send it out to like the mills in Italy. This sounds pretentious, but we've already talked about Rolex, so we're
Right.
already in,
Yeah.
right? We're already in together. We've been on a journey together this last hour and some change. But the thing about suits is if I like something, I will learn all there is to know about it. And like for a while it was like suits. I loved suits. And the buttons on your suit dictate like it's a good indicator of what color shoes you should wear, right? And so the suits got expensive. It was going to be too expensive to have like there's a lot of different shades of brown and stuff, right? And so I was like, gosh, to do this right and to match all the time, it would be easier just to stick with one color. So I picked black because then you can just have one belt, black socks, black shoes, and you're good. Black overcoat. If you went with brown, which I did used to wear, like tans looks really good. But then you're like, oh, you need your camel overcoat, maybe, or your gray one, or your navy one. And it ended up being a lot more things. I was like, I simply
Hmm.
can't afford to do this. Like, I didn't want to have, like, this suit was made for me. This one was not.
Hmm.
So I just went with one color, and I like black the best. But I did used to wear other colors. That's how it landed on black.
Yeah.
Probably I need a better origin story than that, but that is like how it happened.
That's
But then I just
interesting.
went
Yeah.
overboard. Then I just went overboard with it. As a child, I colored everything blue. Like I don't remember this, but I'm told like everything was blue, like one crayon, like that was it. So I've
Ah.
always just been like, "It's my color, and is it one accent?" Like, nope, just more black.
Interesting. Well, I like that too because it's like, yeah, you're eliminating options because, well,
All of them.
it's just too hard, or you're just not balling enough yet. One of those, one of those two. When you're
Exactly.
balling enough to have a suit for every day of the week, then fine. Or personally tailored. And I remember hearing on your podcast with Spencer, you have one that's like has your initials like on the suit and everything. That's pretty cool.
Oh, they've all got it on the inside, and like the shirts have them on the cuff and everything. You know.
Hmm.
I mean, they
Um.
just throw that in there. That's not like an extra. They just do that. Just like, here you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would like to do something like that. Or just open up the suit and it's like classic gold. It's just
Oh yeah,
both
you can
sides of
pick the
classic.
liner too. You could. I mean, they have giant books of fabric, and you can pick whatever you want. I mean, you can get
Ah,
really crazy with it.
maybe I do that. Maybe I could put some Amex gold cards in my getting
I
to.
bet you they could actually do that. I mean,
Oh,
it's gonna
wow.
cost. That's gonna cost, but you
Yeah,
probably could do that.
that's interesting. I did miss Mr. John also came with $5. He said, "I pardon Anthony for making the mistake that he was tricked into by CJ." Thank you very much. He's a good guy. When I was like
Very
choking on
forgiving
stream,
group.
who was yes, they're very free. I think like a month ago after Vegas, I got pretty sick, but I was still doing these lives and I was like coughing on stream like crazy, and I was like running away from the car and then letting people talk. And John contributed to the Halls fund, so I appreciate that. The
Oh,
Halls like
very
cough
nice.
drops. He's a nice guy. Thank you, John, and everybody else. Um,
Sponsored by Halls.
Sponsored by Halls, yeah.
One day.
I actually went and grabbed them too for the following stream because my cough just never went away. Um, okay, so that's okay, cool. So you actually hit a lot of the questions already. Um, uh, oh Lord. Another question was, trying to match the energy as well.
Uh-oh, masculine energy.
I don't know if you want to get into it, but Oakland.
Let's
If
do
not,
it.
if not, we'll just okay.
Let's what is it? Let's do it.
Okay,
I
Oakland.
famously
Swingers.
answer any question people ask me in a Q&A, even to like a detriment. Because sometimes people will be like, "What's one guy?" Be like, "What do you think about Trump?" And I'm like, I'll answer it. And like, I
Oh
know I
my god.
shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So like, hit me. What do you got? We're keeping it alive. Let's go.
All right, it's your funeral, man. No, it's nothing like that. So, are you a virgin? No, it's like a high school question. No, he asked how many rental properties does he have, and does he ever plan on investing in multifamily?
So I have two houses right now. It's funny. I live at home with family because I spend all the money on houses. But I have two. So one is like 1,000 square foot, just a tick under 1,000 square foot bungalow type
Hmm.
deal out in the city called Dearborn. That house has absolutely fell apart this year. Cost a lot of money. That's where all my credit card intro offers has come from, just keeping it together.
Yeah.
Then I have another one. I don't know how big the other one is. It's like as a full family size house. Closer here out in like the Ypsilanti areas, like where I live. So I have two of them. I kind of cheat. I tell people all the time, like I try to go off like a real estate mogul. Like I end up renting them to people like I know, so it's kind of like it made
Mm.
life easier. It's also cheating a little bit. So I have two. The next one will be for me. Like I think when you get start this job, probably give it until March, April, just build back some money, and then the next one will be for me. Multifamily. I'm probably more of a single family person. I get I like the multifamily players. Nothing wrong with it. I think I just overall just knew more about how the single family loan process works and qualifying for all of
Mm.
that. I have nothing against it. Um, Condos is the one I was always told to avoid by our condo underwriting team.
Hmm.
Uh, Personally, I'm more of a I'd like to live in a condo because I don't want to cut the grass or go outside at
Yeah.
all. But the thing about condos was always that your financial security is tied to literally tied to the people around you. So it depends
Yeah.
on like how, I mean, yes, houses catch on fire. You know, it happens, and it can in a neighborhood spread to other houses. It
Yeah.
has happened, but condo, it's definitely happening. The other thing is like condo association boards have done like crazy things. I've just absconded with all the money. Um, and sometimes they get sued
Hmm.
as well. So like, and not that he asked this, but to go, this is how I get in trouble because I just keep adding stuff to the question. I think it makes it interesting.
Yes.
So when I first started in mortgage, I would sit in the appraisal review area. So we had people who used to be appraisers who go out and appraise homes, tell you what they're worth, or, you know, if value is supported is really, you know, what they're supposed to be doing. And we had a
Yeah.
condo review team, and you underwrite the condo, and you also underwrite like the association because you're checking for, you know, you don't own too many. A mortgage company doesn't have too many loans on this condos in this complex, and then it ends up being like the Bank of America condominium complex or something. And the
Yeah.
amount of things times they would come back with something, there was an issue with the association or the neighbors and stuff like that, or issues with like what's the how's the, you know, the common area supported and things like that. um or the random fees that they're like, hey, we're all going to throw in more money because we all need a new roof or something. So
Hmm.
those are the ones I was definitely advised to stay away from because of those reasons.
Yeah.
No one ever told me to stay away from single or multifamily. I just know more about single family. And since the next one is going to be a house to actually live in, it'll probably be a single family. Although again, you could make the multifamily play and rent out the other half of it. That is
Yeah.
possible. Just don't want to deal with people. To be
Yeah.
totally
I hear
honest. So
you.
good question, but that's how that works. It's fun times. You learn a lot of stuff.
I think that's genius, honestly, because, well, just the fact that the point that you brought up about like that no one thinks about is because I was trying to find a referral so I can find an agent in another state for a friend that wanted to buy a condo in a different state. And I remember asking them like, "Oh, have you ever gone over like a condo's balance sheet?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like they no one, even the agents don't even think to do that. It's like go over the condo's balance sheet and then what are, you know, how much money they even have on hand? Are they even like, are they investing that money, or you know, what are they doing with that money? Because it's like, yeah, like you said, if the fire happens that had nothing to do with you, you're going to be liable to pay that at some point. And
The
yeah,
secret to the real estate process is honestly it's an agent that understands what your goals are and
yeah,
can really help you. You know, because if you go in there like, hey, I'm looking For an investment, well, that's a different approach than like, hey, do you like it? You don't have to like it, right? You don't have to because you're not gonna be here, right? It's a different thing. It's a different conversation of, you know, I don't think a lot of people go in and say like, what's it worth? Oh, I do have a screensaver and it's Earth apparently.
It's
You go in like, what's it worth versus can you afford it? It's like, a good agent who understands what you're trying to do is like really important. You can spend a lot of time in banking and mortgage, but like you're not going to know all of it, right? I was never on the buy side before; I was just on the processing side. So, oh, that's huge.
definitely. Um, Definitely a lot of good stuff there. Matt Welter also asked you, because now it's flipping around from all different questions. Matt Welter, he said, I'll modify it a little bit. So basically, the top 3 cards that you would use for the rest of your life. That's
For the rest of my life,
yeah, hit you with that right when you're the most tired. At the end.
I'm all right. I mean, I think the
You're good.
Amazon Prime card is an easy one. There's so
Hmm.
much stuff you can get off of there. I feel like, can I use my Bank of America status? If I could use my Bank of America
Yeah.
status and some of the cards I already have, then I would do the unlimited cash because it's 2.62%. It's gonna be a decent enough catch-all. Then I need one more. I mean, I feel like the people would want to go freedom flex. I mean, it almost might be a custom cash because you get that flexibility because you've got 5% back on a lot of stuff through Amazon. Plus, you can still do buy gift cards from Amazon. 2.62 on everything. It might be a custom cash to kind of do a choose your own adventure if you wanted to.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of the custom cash. I guess those would probably be. I'm thinking through all the cards I have, and those would probably be the three. If I had to go to three, I think those would be it.
Hmm. And I guess in a similar vein, Abdullahi asked, which issuer is his favorite and for what reason?
Well, it's not American Express.
We know, RJ, we know.
I mean, I've been on a big Bank of America tear as of late. I
Yeah.
still think it has to be Chase. I think because I
Hmm.
think Chase, like the 524 rule is, I understand we don't like it, but it's so overblown. It's like, what do we want? Do we really think they're just going to leave the vault open and you can take whatever you want? I mean, like, they have to have some rule to protect themselves, but that's really their only rule. Like, you can do just about whatever you want. You wanna go buy a ton of gift cards? You can do that. You wanna
Hmm.
move credit limit around very easily? You can do that. You want a product change? You can do that. You want multiple freedom flexes? You can do that. Like,
Hmm.
you call Bank of America, sometimes they don't understand what you mean by product change. Capital One is
Hmm.
always like, they don't know their own customer service rules. Amex is the most finicky out of all of them. Citi isn't. I like Citi, but I mean, Citi has a nickname for a reason. You swap the C with an S, and like that's what people know them as, and there's usually a reason for that.
Right.
So give it long enough, and they'll do something. So I think it's Chase because I do think they're on the better side of things out of all of them.
Hmm.
I really like 524 is the only real thing you can say about it. Their deposit accounts are terrible, and again, their fraud prevention is just terrible, over hypersensitive. But their cards, I think their cards are probably like their strongest point of the consumer game. So I think Chase fanboyism aside, like I think it's justified. I'd go with Chase.
Hmm. Sounds good. Not bad. Another one is Matt Clausen asked, should every issuer do cashback match?
Like for like the intro, I assume he's talking about like the intro offer. I like Discover has like for the first year you do like a
Probably.
cashback match.
I think so.
I think I think the issuers would actually save money if they did a cashback match offer. So we did a video plugging like the affiliate link for the Freedom Unlimited Double Cash, right? Of
Yeah.
course, if you want one, profitablecontent.com. But um, I said in the video because on the second channel I do videos about credit card offers as well. I said the double cash I feel like is kind of a trap offer for a lot of people because on the surface it sounds really good, but we know like the target would be like $800 because you could also get the 5% gas and groceries plus $200, and that comes out to be $800 if you max it out. So if you know what you're doing and you plan ahead and you say, "Hey, I'm not actually going to get a lot of new cards. I'm going to go very hard with this Freedom Unlimited double cash match." Then yeah, I think it's great, but I think it'll trick a lot of people, and people will new people will get the card and they'll be, "Oh, cool," but then they'll forget about it. They'll go back to their old card. Like I can see people getting, excuse me, I can see people getting tripped up by it and not making $800. But the PNC did it, and I was super hyped for that one. I got denied, but that one at least they have a cap on it, on the cap on the top category. So I like the offer. I think banks would do better. I think I would be worried about people being able to plan it out more to like really maximize the value around it versus just like, hey, I hit $1,000 and I got my whatever.
Hmm.
Just a theory.
Yeah, all good points for sure. And then the last question we had from the Discord, which was Mr. Dr. Vinny Bombats. He said, if you could be the CEO of any issuer, which one would you be, and what would be your first act as CEO?
There's so many good options. I mean, you know what? I've run my mouth so much, I would take over American Express for a day. Uh,
Oh,
I think without having looked into them too much, I think there's a lot of opportunity. And the reason I think there's a lot of opportunity is because I think they struggle with we want the image, we want the prestige, which usually comes with our core three cards. But we also see them pushing very strongly into deposit products, right? Checking
yeah.
account, savings account promotions, business account bonuses, which are great, but they're not really set up to like cross sell well, which I believe the Chase's biggest strength is the power of the cross sell and just how many products they offer you. City as well. I mean, they all have them. That's what Bank of America Preferred Rewards is. It's giant cross sell. But with American Express right now, like their personal checking account, I can't get it because I have a business account with them,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane. And yes, I know we've spent the last hour to almost 2 hours talking about how I churned accounts. I legitimately use this business account. I legitimately use that Blue Business Cash card for regular purchases for the business to try to create that separation and be a good person come tax time. At least
Mm,
make my tax guy happy. And
yes.
so every data point they have on me under profitable content is you're a customer, not the most profitable customer in the world. I mean, they barely make $1,000 in AdSense a month, right? But we're not sending them tons and tons of money, but you're still a customer. And so why would you exclude me from getting a checking account with you? Like, why would you say I can't do that right now?
Yeah.
If you need more accessible cashback cards to cross sell to people when they're opening a deposit account. I don't think people are going to take to a free account and then all of a sudden, hey, here's a $150 credit card. That feels, granted, you don't have to apply for it, but it feels like a bait and switch. Is where if I'm sitting in most places, they're going to offer me a no annual fee card. I think
Mm,
people really want to sign up for American Express. I think the issue they may run into a little bit it's like you remember, like I don't know if you like cars at all. You're like
yeah.
Mercedes. Like by the time you can afford like a legitimate Mercedes, like you're older and you're like, well, I've never driven them. I've always driven Ford or something. Now maybe I want a Raptor instead for that money,
Yeah.
right? So they came out with like the CLA, which was like their young professional Mercedes, right? But it was the
Mm,
point was they didn't want people to go into their 40s or 50s and never experience the brand, so they came out with a more accessible one. I
hmm.
think that's kind of what American Express might need to do because they've done it a little bit, you know. We're not allowed to call them charge cards anymore. They're cards with flexible payment options. I think charge cards scared people. It also gives them more ways to make money, but things like that become more approachable, help with the cross sell. I wouldn't even tweak their rules. Like if you still want to have the rewards abusive team, I think I'd just make it a little bit more understanding and try to tweak the model to like, was this person really trying to scam us with this one return or like do they have a history of it? But I think the cross sell piece is really where their biggest opportunity is at. I think they take advantage of it. So that's what I would do.
That
What from
is,
Red Class?
you know, for a question that is, it's a real question, but most people would take that and just say, I don't know, give everybody a free platinum for a day or something for something like that. You came up with like probably one of the best marketing product strategies that American Express probably will ever
Oh,
would end
well,
up
thank
doing.
you. No, I mean, yeah, I try to give people a real thoughtful answer, and you just can't go like free plat. Like like, I know you still got some, but we'll see. Problems. We'll just keep going. The platinum card is designed
Hmm.
awfully terrible. Like in the space between the word, I think it's awful, but the business model's ingenious. Maybe you can make me end it here if you want. I don't know if people want to keep hearing me yammer on, but
You're
if I
good.
look at the platinum card, I'm like, okay, $700 annual fee. We assume the vendors are the ones who subsidize these credits, right? Like they probably pay the bulk of them. So, and really, I get people to cover the cost of account maintenance through the annual fee. I mean, account maintenance kind of scales nicely, I would imagine, the cost for that through the annual fee. The benefits I'm offering people are paid for by somebody else. I'm really only paying out 5% back on flights, but I try to direct the average person through my travel portal anyways, where I still probably get a cut of that.
Hmm.
Oh, by the way, I've also added flexible payment options and installment plans where I wasn't even getting interest. Now I can. And I'm the issuer and the payment network, so I had to share even less of the swipe fees. It's like the whole card is designed to put an Amex in everyone's hand, get them to use it, and I get even more of the money their customers paying me to maintain the product through the annual fee, and the vendors are supporting most of the benefits, leaving me to just take my cut of the swipe fees and interest if you have the plan. It's brilliant. I don't care for it, but that's my interpretation of their model is where other cards, there's account maintenance, but there is no annual fee, and the multipliers are easier to access, and it's easier to redeem cash back. You look at the Blue Business Cash that I have. If you think about it, I'm on American Express. I don't even have this giant outstanding liability. Well, it wouldn't be a liability because points are still worthless until redeemed, but
Hmm.
there's probably still accounted for on the balance sheet somewhere. Of like this could be the maximum amount we have to pay out, but because I make the Blue Business Cash and the cashback cards to redeem their cash automatically at the end of each statement cycle, I don't have that. Because I'm basically just giving my money right back to me because I'm doing that, lowering my risk, not carrying this large points pool that I owe people. It's all set up very nice. I think they know what they're doing, which is why it always surprises me that they don't get the cross sell right when it's like the most obvious thing. Like, and these
Hmm.
are the things I think about and talk to myself about. Now you put yourself in front of me with 43 other people, so now I'm just going to talk about it. That's how I see it. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's brilliantly structured, brilliantly structured, and here we are. I mean, again, no one else is like impressed about my chase. I have 4 Chase Freedom cards, which impresses me. No one else cares. Like, do you have the platinum card? You're hardly a YouTuber. Then go away.
Right.
It's amazing. So no, I respect American Express incredibly. I just don't. I care for their cards, but again, I have one. But so that was my overall thoughts that no one asked me about American Express. But there you go.
Well, it's a good thing that American Express, the CEO, actually does come into the live chats every now and again. So that's good. No, I'm
That
kidding,
would be
but
fantastic. Now I'm locked out of my account. Fantastic.
just take all the money out of the business checking account and everything. Just freeze it.
Like
It's
all
great.
$800. Like he's like, yeah, you were
Yeah.
too poor to be here. Sorry. Like I know. Did you miss the part where we talked about getting fired like twice?
Oh my god, yeah. This is the Two Broke podcast after all.
Exactly.
uh, so man, after all that, I think you're right. Actually, Dr. Vinny Bobat said, "Thanks, RJ. Such a top tier head on your shoulders. Thank you for the answer."
Oh, appreciate it.
So it's
Appreciate it.
good place to head out on, especially since it looks like it's
Yep.
midnight here.
Yeah, you're losing your light, man. We
I
got to get you an office or something. I mean,
I can't afford one. It's like I have to live in this car, you know.
he spent it all on the plaid edition. I mean,
This is not a plaid. This is absolutely. I got the cheapest Tesla you can go with. So
it's not like the half steering wheel one.
no, it's the full Serial one. If you could see that,
All right. I can
yeah.
see it. Now you can do that thing everyone does where they put their watch with the steering wheel and take a picture of it. If you visit Watch Reddit or like the Rolex
Oh,
forum,
they
all
do that?
that
Something like that
all the
or
time,
whatever?
all the
So
time. People
stupid.
love it all the time. So.
Ridiculous. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's fair. But yeah, let's definitely, I'll send you that Chime link for anyone who wants to put this to use. Send me your Discord thing, and I'll be happy to hang out in the bonus section or wherever people want. They want more questions, and then if you want, if everyone's interested, I'm happy to come back. We can build out we can do Ventura's grind to 1K or something, or whatever you want to call it. We can definitely do something. So, but it's been a great time.
I really appreciate you, man. I'm throwing the Discord in here at least. I have the dome lights on, Michael. I have the bond. It's very small in this car. Yes. Yeah, look at that. It's nothing. Very little.
Hey man, this looks good. I have a Logitech, like a small Logitech like streaming light that hangs up there, like just puts light. That's all I got. This is not a great setup either, but it's what we got. It's what we work with. But it shows people you can just start with whatever, man.
Yeah, man. I got a freaking iPhone. That's it. But yes, definitely appreciate your time today. This was definitely this was a real lot of fun.
Oh, it's been a great time.
I feel like every week I'm like, this is one of the most fun ones, but this really was one of the most fun ones for sure. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I've learned a lot. And yeah, I would love to do a follow up. Yeah, I'll send you the Discord, and you'll see it. You'll make some people a lot of money, I'm sure, and hopefully in return use your referral. So that'd be great. That'd be awesome, myself included. So thank you again, sir. And as always, let me just say, so amazing dollar man, appreciate you, Mark. John, CJ, DCJ, and Pink Polo. Appreciate all you guys for the super chats, and of course, who else is in here? Dr. Vini Anon, Anthony Jones, A. Ron, Michael Stewart, JP Buffett, everybody who's in here. Appreciate you all every single week doing this. But again, I'll see you next week with someone new. So, thank you, RJ, again.
Bye, internet.
See you guys.